we witnessed on Friday, coming off the 10th losing week for stocks out of the last 11. So good to see some positive numbers right across the entire board here. There we go, U.S. markets, 2.6 to the upside for the S&P, 2.9 almost for the NASDAQ, leading the way. Tech very, very strong this afternoon. It's been that way right out of the gate this morning as soon as the open came around. 1.9% for the Dow, back in positive territory. Further down the list here, 1% for crude oil. Some Chevron talk just coming out. They were talking about how they're going to deal with these higher costs and higher prices right across the board for consumers. So crude oil still up 1% on the day, just under half an hour to go in crude oil session. Bitcoin and Ethereum, 4% still. Nice day for cryptocurrencies, bouncing back as well with equities. Green board to show you here, only a few to the downside. Dish, Meta, Netflix here in the communication services group, all leading as far as laggards concerned. 4% kind of day for Google, almost 4 for GOOG. BBWI, 9% in the consumer discretionary group. Look at Tesla though. Tesla, yeah, 11% to the upside for Tesla today. A great day right across the board. This DVA we'll get into a little bit in the healthcare group. Otherwise, healthcare stocks, pretty good right across the board. There was a positive note on Merck. You can see 4% there for Merck on a pneumonia vaccine, which is kind of cool. Tech stocks leading, though, right across the board. It's been that way, as I said, right out of the gate this morning. Welcome in. A couple hours left on a Tuesday afternoon. Hope your day is going well. Let's have a look back at what we were talking about this morning. If you joined us in the pre-market, if you're not, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you're here every single day at 8:30. We get you set for the open. We're going to talk a little bit about some individual names and opportunities that they presented. Sean is here, going to lead the way today with a look at one of his trades.
Hey, happy to discuss this one with you guys today. It's going to be Ape Nation. Let's hit it there, Lucas, if we can get it. There it comes, the big side here, and it's going to be AMC. And there wasn't any big movie releases. There was really nothing to worry about, but we saw some volume come in. Plus, I just want to identify here, we had this 1220 level. So when we saw AMC come in a little bit today, 1220 goes back to the 9th, goes back to here as well, the 14th, 13th, 14th, and then some giddy up levels right there at 1220. So we sort of highlighted a few spots, nothing too much back there, but you could go all the way back to the beginning of June and find some key levels. We've only dipped under there once there before getting through some chop with volume coming through. So today, let's just review the trade. It wasn't on the sticky note. There was really nothing happening. There's 1220, also the bottom, which is very key of Friday. So, you know, we came in here, we see this move to the downside on Friday, big time movement down, then you get a bump up, obviously with a big volume spike. There was the rebalancing on Friday, so that plays a factor there. But look where we bounced off of, that's the 1220. So it's the same thing, boom, 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 all the way through. It's that one right there, right? So that's the 1220 that we bounced off of. That's it, so we wanted to go long the same level. That's it. So today we're watching AMC and we're thinking all morning long, not much is happening, just bouncing around, bouncing around. We never thought about going short. We never even thought about going long, but it came up on our scanner. We noticed it was falling to the downside. So here it comes, falls right back in, right into that level. We actually let it bottom wick there at about 12:15. As soon as we see that move, boom, then we go long. And then after that, it's just a matter of like 2 or 3 minutes and we get 1240. So we get it right back into the close there. So we take a piece there at 1240, then accelerated to the upside. So here we go. This is where it starts to get real interesting, just starts to move up. And we even talked about it when it was in there at VWAP at the 50 period. And we were saying on the show, it's like, I feel like AMC could go. What if this is one of those days where all of a sudden it just starts to run up? Now, I don't have it on here, but the NASDAQ also up 3% or so today. So the market's starting to go up. But we know that AMC and the NASDAQ, doesn't have too much correlation, but we let it just float to the upside. And you can see it just keeps going, A little bit of bouncing off there at 1250, then a move to the upside. Do we hold for the very top? Nah, we couldn't predict that, but we basically get out right in the middle here, 1275 or so, right there. So we take 50 cents clean on that, right back in. We haven't reloaded yet. And that's sort of what I wanted to tell you about, was that you gotta be patient. Maybe there was a reload situation there, but the thing is, if I take long 1235, I probably have to let it come in before I make a decision down here. So, you know, when I'm taking here 50 cents, taking out there 15 cents, I don't really want to hold out for 40, 50 cent loser on an average in positions because I probably have double the shares. So if AMC floats down here again near 1220, I believe that's going to be a long and then possibly a short. I'm always nervous about shorting AMC, but up near 13 looks pretty good as well. So it's your trade of the day. Nothing to do with popcorn or movie theaters or anything like that. Actually just really cool because we found these levels. We saw it hold here today on that dip down, gave us an opportunity, bang it to the upside. It's AMC and it's your trade of the day.
Great technical level, great technical trade for AMC this morning. Shareholder meeting last week, if you remember, for AMC as well. They said no to Adam Aaron's pay package, I saw as well. For AMC, that's the watch list, guys. Make sure you pick that up every single day. We had some technical issues this morning. We apologize for that, but all is well now. So make sure you grab the watch list every day before we come on at 8:30. Just watching ARCT. That was that one that popped up just before the midday show came to an end there. It's mRNA vaccine maker, so another one of those. Apparently some takeover chatter. Twitter as well, still doing some volume, came right back down after Elon apparently Fox Business was talking about Elon back on the trail of finding funding once again to get this deal potentially done for the day. If you joined us at 8:30 this morning, we were also talking about some tech stocks as we saw them, among the leaders to the downside and the week last week. We come back in this morning, they're up, more than pretty much anything else, doing all kinds of volume this morning as well. Outside of a few, including Meta, we'll talk about in a second here, but Apple nicely higher, guys. Microsoft nicely higher for the most part. Pretty good day for these.
Yeah, I mean, it's the market motoring to the upside. I mean, we were at 3% at one point. Obviously, it's given a little bit back, so I guess it's a little bit deceiving, but welcome. It should be an interesting party this afternoon. We'll get to some Revlon in a second, but getting those longs, man, that was tricky this morning. I mean, I had a couple of things that we wanted, whether it was NIO. At least we got Roku, to be honest with you. Even Tesla, we missed out on until we started just taking flat-out breaks to the upside. And the thing about it is almost everything was parabolic off the open. When I say parabolic, I mean like opening candles where if you weren't doing a breakout style trade, I know Roku went through like 87 or so, just shooting up like absolute like madness. Amazon was another name, if I can load up, that showed you just a huge breakout right off of the open, like $1.50 style candle. So that's what we're contending with. And that was into a market that was already up over almost a couple points there going into that open. So we were up at that point thinking, okay, usually we get a bit of a dip buy and some profit taking, but that was not the case. Everything just shot straight to the upside. And if you didn't have those long breakouts sitting in there, it was pretty tricky unless you were sitting in position to get some of the long opportunities. We'll talk about some of the individual names. Meta really did buck that trend, and we'll get to that one second. But wow, the overall tech rally, great. I liked Roku just because it's set up as a breakout. And that's what you had to have this morning. The breakouts, at least for today, we're back.
Yeah, there was some good, I got to fix this Polaroid here. We have this Polaroid.
They're like, what's a Polaroid?
Yeah, this is a Polaroid. Just my kid here, but it fell off, so I don't want to get in trouble. And there we go. It has a little stand, so there we go. A little Polaroid picture there. You all got to have some motivation around your desk. That's for sure, but so many pictures. She gave me that one. All right, sorry, not sorry, Trader Proud. We've been beating up on some Draftkings right now. We just had some fun on the show about that one. We're short now at 50 on Draftkings. Short, 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 out, out, out. Right there, short, 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 out, out, out on the way down. So Draftkings, nice movement to the upside here today. Up that 8%. We let it drift. We're talking about this 1250. That's where we reloaded this one. And then now we're just cashing in on the downside. But we're talking about tech leads. Yeah, for sure, man. We're up on every single tech name today. We've been holding out for Microsoft. Small piece. It's come right back in here on a dip down, but we were really hitting Microsoft, bouncing off this 252. I mean, that has been a great trade for us. Apple's been a great trade as well, bouncing. Same areas, man. They're all about to break right now, but during the show, we took, bless you, we took a big advantage of some of these, while Proud was on there. 38, 135.80, out 136.10. It's just scalp nation, right? Microsoft, the exact same thing here on that side. So you can see some nice scalping opportunities here for Microsoft as well. In and in, never had to get out. Like these are 1250, this is 253. That's a 253.70 print, right? So now you're starting to fade out a little bit on some of these moves, but yeah, tech leads the way. So for me, it's no surprise. Should be no surprise for a lot of you. The NASDAQ was up huge. And the NASDAQ's been so beat down that I feel like, I mean, I was saying this before, I think this is what's going to have to lead us out. But at the same time, I mean, it led us here to where we are. So maybe tech continues to slide. Do we have AMD on that board? Okay, so one other thing here. A big win right now for AMD on board for me. We are coming back into some levels, though. Just because we talked about tech leading, I just realized that AMD has been pretty weak. It was a great move here, man. We had some great trades long. AMD's been a good stock for me, one of my #1 stocks. But as you come back down in, you know what? Let's just get some out at 7 if we can. A nice move down here for AMD. We're short off the 50 period. We're short against 85. So when we're short against 85, that's 30 cents against us. And now we're in the money 60. We should probably take a piece. So let's get on this bid now. Take a piece out ahead of 84. Then I really feel like, you know, if this market breaks, we know which names we want to look at. We have AMD on our mind. Come on, give me that 07s. There it is. Yes, sir. So we'll go smoking right now. We get those beats starting to pop off right now. Wow, man, we don't have a negative stock today. So Apple, AMC, AMD, Draftkings, and now Microsoft, although that just came out right there because it did take down that low level. Irrelevant, but it does come out. So right now, we'll just continue to go with these shorts. We have short AMD and short Draftkings. And other than that, man, we're just cruising. But there it is. I feel like I'm not going long anything right now, Brendan, in the tech space, as long as the NASDAQ is below the 50 period. So that's not a long for me. We were taking longs in here as we were kind of dancing, but now we're kind of increasing this. So watch out below. It's not impossible that this market only winds up at like a paltry 1% or something like that today. Microsoft giving some up, Apple giving some up, AMD giving it up. So watch out for some of these bottoms maybe.
Yeah, cue the afternoon grind for the overall market here, kind of sideways-ish to the downside. Meta, I want to mention, just made a new day low here, back to the downside as well. I mean, this gapped up versus where we were Friday with the rest of the group and has done nothing but come straight to the downside. There wasn't a heck of a lot on this today outside of a screen cap of a message, I guess, memo that Zuck sent out to staff today, suggesting that some of the monetization models that they've been discussing over the past couple of years have been or are going to be pushed back to 24 now instead of the beginning of next year. 23 is when they were originally discussing this. Outside of that, though, not a heck of a lot for Meta, guys, but as you were saying, you know, relatively weak right out of the gate.
Oh my, relative week's a bit of an understatement. I just took some, by the way, still going to be trading, obviously, got a bunch of positions here, but I did just take some out of Amazon. That started rolling over. If you were watching the midday show, you would have heard this 109, 109 and a quarter level. As the market got to a double top, whatever you want to call it there, lower high, I mean, Amazon had already come off and started to be relatively weak. So I did jump into the short in front of 109. Already starting to take some out on the way to low of the day. But
I like that.
Lows of the day, like the Meta chart, you wouldn't, like if I only showed you this and then asked you, do you think we're up in the NASDAQ or not? And you'd be telling me, no, it's probably just your standard red day. This is what we've been seeing. But no, even as we were making highs, even as we were testing back toward the highs, Meta's just been under pressure. Now, we did get to and through last week's bottom back at 160. Kicking myself, should have had the short. You can actually see it's now held a range. It held a range, I should say, after making that break of last week's bottom, about a 159.5 or so, and then just broke through that low again at 158. It continues to fall. So every little 50-cent channel, it just seems to fail over and over again. Sean said you wouldn't go in any longs. I've been sitting in a square one, and then I did add to Twitter in front of some support, but I don't think that one's going to be very long-lasting. Twitter, I thought I'd be scalping it, but that just looks incredibly weak. Not as weak as Meta, however. I just feel there might be some pops to be shorted here because this thing hasn't caught a bid at any point, looking just super weak, unfortunately, for them. I don't know where the bottom's going to be, but last I checked, you get a couple days like this, and 150 gets very interesting to see that on the bid, hopefully one day.
Yeah, I think Meta will get to there. Ooh, my show did transfer over this time. So welcome, guys. Hit the like button if you can. Over 3,100 people watching. We have Tuesdays with Tony And I believe we have Rader Trader coming on soon, so that should be interesting as well. If that's still going down, I believe it is at about 2:45. So we'll have some interesting guests coming through today. But there's Draftkings with a nice move to the downside again. We just took a 28 bid. I mean, we're short here at 50. I mean, this has been a good trade for us. It's starting to make the moves to the downside. Remember, if and when this market does give it up, I mean, you want to be short some of these high-flying names, right? Some of the names that have been going back to the upside. Luca called it small cap. It's going to be a small cap summer. Yeah, it might be, but just those are the names that are going to take off when the market's going. Like a Roblox or some of those names that have been so beat down. They're going to go, right? I mean, Roblox today was up 10+%, tried to take down 30, retested 29 already. I mean, there's so many names that are like this from all of them, from Fisker to Chewy. I'm just looking to Palantir to NIO. Some of these names, Square, that are all huge. Palantir has been one of those beat down names. I like Palantir, but up to 905 again today. So just watch out for some of these names that have been sort of blown out of the water. T-Doc up today again, Beyond Meat up 5.5%. I mean, I thought Roku with Walmart was actually a pretty cool thing where you could just buy off, I guess, with a thing on your phone, or I don't know if an option is going to show up on the screen or how that's built into the software, but you can buy products right from your Roku. Like maybe you're watching something and an ad shows up from Walmart, I guess, and you could just go ding ding and buy that. I thought that was pretty jamming. So Roku today up 7.5%, but look where it came from. This is what I'm talking about. When the market wants to pop, man, 84 to 89 right there on Roku. So big move to the upside here. I feel like these are the names you want to be in, especially if this market is going to start to rip like this. You want to be in some of these beat down names, and I think Roku qualifies there.
Move for Roku today back to highs essentially on the day. Right now, let's go to, I mean, we can talk about some of the Chinese stocks in general here, but NIO specifically, I can't remember the last time this thing was up 10% on a day. It's been really, really strong couple of weeks here, week and a half at least, for NIO. On this note that was out this morning, Bank of America coming out, raising their talk, at least in general, right across the board, including this 31 from 26. For NIO, that's still meta, back to the downside, but NIO, the opposite right now.
NIO is like, it's going gangbusters today. And if there's one long that was, I talked about it, how it was difficult to get some of the longs. NIO, there was a breakout. I was looking for the dip buy on NIO because it just feels like when it gaps up, that's the way to go. And there was a bit of a dip. Unfortunately, it just wasn't far enough. And I was looking back, I wanted 21s. That's an ugly dark pool, like wick candle, really got to 21.5. So you had to pay up quite a bit to get that dip price. It felt like it was going to be one of those regular days where the Chinese names gap up, there's a little bit of a sell-off, and then they start and go off to the races. At that point, once we missed out on that long, it got to 23, and it's just been battling ever since. I've had it short. This is now the third time. The first time was great, pulled all the way back into 77s there. 75s, and we were able to get some out. Then we got back in and did the break at 23 even. That was no good. And now I'm just sitting short at 23 on a 23.10 top. But NIO, on the daily, this is just clean breaking out on the daily. So at this point, like unless you get in on that dip, that's why I like those 21s, those 21 halves. I guess we should have paid up for them. Because once you're up here, you're starting to think about, can you get to that 25? Are we going to see that 200 period moving average, which not many names are going to be able to even say that in this particular market. So as long as we're in the midst of this break, I think you want to buy in front of this 21 area as many times as we can. Obviously, you get this high and you have a double top in the futures and NIO makes a level at that 23. It's going to be worth it as a day trader to short, risk, small amount, like 10 cents or something like that, to try and get these pullback trades. But the bigger picture is that some of these, there's a few names that have made significant bottoms, gotten above their 50 period and starting to break back out, and are actually looking like they're reversing trend a little bit here. NIO does fall into that category, and it's part of the reason why it is so strong today, although not quite as strong as Tesla.
No, I mean, we like NIO. I mean, it was 5 of 6 days. It started off the day with a nice little bump, and then it got the B of A upgrade as well today. So, I mean, it was, again, you know, we talk about the sticky note all the time. For joining us, follow me at TraderTV Sean. We were all over NIO. We only had today Apple, AMD, NIO, and Amazon, and we like that same 21 level, but Neil just reviewed it, so let's go over to another strong Chinese name, Alibaba, today. Not super strong, kind of the same as all the rest. Microsoft, Baba, Apple, they're all up just a little more than the NASDAQ, up about 3%. So Alibaba's held this 105. We've really liked 105. And then today kind of justifies that. Forget about the open. It's very hard to trade these Chinese names off the open because we need to get direction. We got killed on Alibaba Thursday or Friday, one of those days last week, where it just kept on tanking off Ant. We thought that it was going to be getting the okay for the IPO from the regulators on Ant Financial, but then that didn't come through, so it must have been, yeah, here it is. Oh, here it is right here, perfect. It was Friday, so all the way down until eventually breaking that 106 area, and then we didn't even hold for 105. Good thing we didn't. Goes all the way down there to 101. So fast forward to today, you know, kind of crazy movement off the open again. Glad I'm not involved in this because I don't know where I would have been wrong, and I probably would have got out at 105 again, and there's the bounce back, but here's 105 holding. So I think if we can support that for Alibaba, the 105 area, pretty key. That's right into here. We've seen a gap there, gap down below, open at 105, and then hit that 98. And there was a few other key spots, a close of 105 there, a reopen at 105, and now today we're hovering. So let's just play off 105 moving forward. Maybe if I say 105 again, it'll come down, but for now, I think we'll just leave Baba alone. It's a name I like, and if tomorrow, and maybe even now, it's 1220. You know, if we can get down into this 105 area, I want to buy it. So let's just put an order down there. If we're lucky enough to get picked up, great. Then we'll do that. But for now, what's our next topic? Tesla? Okay, then I'm going to skip ahead to AMD quickly. Here's AMD moving down. I just want to review that because we did get out. We got pieces here, then out for like 30 cents or so there, into 84.40, into some strength, we thought. And then there's a dip down. That low it got to was 83.90. So we could have got out there. We didn't. Now it's coming back in. I don't want to get out of this one. So I just wanted to review that with you. You know, I think I got to be short something. The market's below the 50 period. And if we can take this out, 83.90, then I do say look out below into these Kramer bottoms. Like what the heck was he even doing there? Down to 83 bucks. So this was the only scary position we had all day. Every stock we're trading today is a positive one. But we did lose on this trade before making it back all the way back up and then bought it there and now short again. So let's watch out for AMD taking out this 83.90.
A note on EBIX. If you remember last week, there was a Hindenburg short report on EBIX. Apparently, they've released more of that short report, including their position and why they're short. But anyways, let's go to Tesla. 11, almost 12% now, headed back to day highs. Clearly, no one cares about this Twitter ordeal. This is a big kind of statement day. If you look at a daily chart, we're right back towards the highs over the past week or so. But huge move here for Tesla, despite Elon saying, if you missed it, overnight in a press conference, that the 10% layoff number is actually going to happen.
Look, and first of all, like that's not necessarily, you know, it's like why wouldn't we take
Tesla's up 12%?
Like Tesla, like NIO looks strong. Tesla, trust me, as strong as the chart looks, believe me, watching the tape, it was even stronger than that this morning. And I came in and I liked longs above 650 on Tesla. The problem is it was at 670. And I should have just said, take breakouts, but I didn't like it. 680 was the price that, you know, that's been my price that I've loved for a little bit here. We just never got a dip at 660. And once the breakout happened, I just went back to the old bag. I went to like the 700 short, made one trip up. Instead of shorting at 700, taking a 95 short, and that essentially marks the entire day because from there, it was a nice breakout at 7 even. You're able to scalp to the next level, then a breakout at 7. It was 710, that broke out, then it got to 725, and 725 pulled back for a nice scalp short. So everything about it was good, except for the fact that there was that 95 to 700 where I had too many shares. You know, should have been a small hit, but unfortunately, I just had too many because essentially, when you trade off of an even dollar level and you're having a tight stop, you're going to use a few more shares there, and I put those at 95 instead of 99, and that was just a mistake on my part. But the bigger picture is, and I don't know how many charts look like this, but it's too many to even count. where the breakout was where it was at this morning. And the game plan for me involved a lot of dip buying, and in this case, there was no dip to be had in Tesla. Like if you were waiting to buy the dip in Tesla, you were buying the 700 dip after it had already gone 35 bucks. That just tells you everything you need to know about how strong this one is. And we're going to talk about Revlon in a second, because that's been a wild ride too, but for obviously different reasons.
Yeah, people saying Revlon is flushing right now. So
it just bounced right.
Did it? Okay, well, we can have a look. I haven't even looked. I have to pay for shorts, I guess, for that. I haven't done that yet. Look, Tesla, I'm just going to keep beating myself up over this. I feel like I should be selling it, but I'm not. Every single time it comes up to these levels, it's like, I'm like, I want to sell. Where's the daily chart? Nobody knows. That's going to be a mystery. That's not it either. But yeah, here it is. Let's look at a 20-minute anyways. You know, we've already been up here before. We've talked about that. I mean, it wasn't too long ago, man. You have the 9th when we were up to 765, but we've come into here and then flushed. We came up here and flushed. So I don't know, man. If the NASDAQ's going to rebound, it looks like Tesla's where you want to put your money. You're going to be wrong if you're not long, it seems like, on Tesla. There's too much love for this company, and why not? I mean, everybody that was hating on Tesla, and I forget who said this last week. I think it was Randy maybe. But everybody who was hating on Tesla now owns one, it seems like. So you can't get your hands on electric vehicles. I know there's a Lucid. Actually, I think, Brendan, there's a Lucid in Yorkville. I think back
the
to
dealership.
Dealership, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I know they're not really ready to be rolled out yet or anything like that, and they're producing them slowly. So maybe they have a few. But if you want an electric car soon, it's going to have to be a Tesla, one of their models. So I feel like they're going to continue to work in this environment until, I guess, supply chain gets figured out. I mean, I had no idea, honestly. I wasn't even paying attention to it today. You could see what I'm doing here, but it's just 12% seems like a monster surprise to me. And
when it goes, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. When it goes, it goes. And so, to me, you got to be long this name. The market's gotten crushed. So has Tesla. But look what happens on up days, man. When it gets some good news about this stock starts to run. You're probably going to have Kathy in there buying it up more. So, yeah, I like the name. I like the stock. And I think you got to stay long Tesla despite all the worries of Twitter and their heralded leader, Mr. Elon Musk.
All hail.
Everyone loves Elon, apparently now, this day anyway. So I was just watching Revlon, guys. 126 million shares traded today. Now 127 million. Wait 30 seconds, it'll be 128 million. You get the point. 62% on this apparently bankrupt company. I just noticed that it's now actually trading above where it was when they declared bankruptcy. So I guess that went to plan.
It's been doing that for a while. This stock is now it's a full squeeze, right? Like 37% short. I mean, there's multiple numbers. 37 is one of them we see. I've seen higher than that, but yeah. I think for the most part that seems like the right number. And people have asked on the chat like how much we pay for locates. It's a couple of pennies per share, but we're day trading.
Is it?
That's vastly different from the borrow cost when you're holding overnight. Right, so we have no problem saying, hey, we pay for locates, this is what they cost, worth it, not worth it, but in this case, it's going to be very different. So, this is a squeeze, regardless of how cheap it is for day traders. And as a matter of fact, the cheaper it is for day traders, the more reasonable the cost, more crowded the short gets for day traders that also have to cover. And as you can tell, I've been short several times in the stock. I did have one long at 480, but for the most part, it was short off the high of the day, worked. It was then short off the high of the day again. That worked till it didn't. And then we had another one that was good. And then it's just been since it broke that $5 range that the shorts have really started not to come in. So we had this 560 a couple of times. You see it stop out. I did make almost a top wick here at 6.25, and I'm back in it again. But what's going on right now, and what I'm seeing I think is the big deal, is you have these consolidations off the highs, and I'll zoom in so I can maybe make this point a little bit better. And then you're getting these capitulation candles, and they get immediately bought up at the next support level. And then it just goes right back to consolidating. Like, it's insane. Like, this actually, I wasn't in it when it did it here at about 1 o'clock, where a capitulation goes right into the next level and then just goes and buys it again. I was in the short here at 5 when it did it. It then bounced right to the breakout price and then snapped back up. And what that means is, in these liquidity vacuums, like, they're buying and supporting the stock at the next level to the point that you're not getting wick off tops, you're getting wick off bottoms at the highs, which has been driving it higher. So whenever that happens, the rule of thumb to me is do not average into the short. It's just, if it makes that move, I'm not taking any more shares. As a matter of fact, I didn't even give it to the high the last time. So it either pulls back here and now. I'm not going to short this level again after that little capitulation and run up. But once it goes this high, it's hard for me to want to chase the long. The setup that I really wanted for the long trade never really came in at about $4, so it didn't give me the consolidation I was looking for, so I didn't miss out on it. But if we get VWAP, I think anybody shorting this thing would be pretty happy if they got it back into VWAP, because it has been bouncing off that and bouncing further away from that all afternoon.
Yeah, I tried to get 6 there, and then I realized I didn't have the shorts either. You might have heard me say that. So it's 5 cents roughly right now, 5 cents per share. So it's up now. But like, geez, we could have had that, man. You could have had $6. It was sitting there for a while. I was looking at it, put the order out, had to go get the shares. So we do not have this short. But yeah, up to 620, 630 Revlon, man. I mean, you said it, Brendan. Now 129 million shares now on this name. So it just keeps on going here. Revlon, I don't think you'll be disappointed if you're able to get something like Neil said around that 620, 630 mark. But watch out. You take that 630 and we get out. So to me, it's kind of an easy short. Let's just see if it can pay off for us. I like Revlon here, and I like it short against that level. So we'll to see where we go, man. Revlon short from here.
Just a monster today, REV. We'll watch that again tomorrow. Just saw a note on Amazon, guys. Former U.S. President Obama signing an audiobook deal with Amazon. So you're going to be able to listen to former President Obama on Amazon. Wanted to mention this real quick. I talked about Frank Caberna a little bit this morning on the morning show. Frank was inquiring because of the long weekend what we're going to do on the show today, but sadly, we're full already. We have Andrew Rader. We're very excited to have back on the show. Rader Trader coming up in a few minutes. However, Frank was nice enough to send over a few notes on his thoughts for the week when it comes to the U.S. dollar and also some of the treasury yields that he keeps an eye on. So just real quick on the U.S. dollar, he was basically pointing to this. UK inflation and Canadian inflation, and then the Powell speech coming up as well. U.S. dollar back to highs today, however, he's basically saying if Canadian inflation and if UK inflation both come out and show a little bit of a pullback, you'll also see a pullback in the U.S. dollar. So that was the main point he wanted to pass along. So shout out to Frank. We'll talk to Frank, have him back on Friday, but I wanted to make sure we got that across. But Andrew Rader, guys, we're excited to have back in a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, look, if that actually happens, what you were just mentioning there with inflation and the U.S. dollar, some things to remember. Don't forget Microsoft. Don't forget Salesforce, CRM, a couple of names that guided lower because of the strength in the U.S. dollar. So if you're thinking about, hey, where's a good place to jump in if you see that pullback? I mean, there's going to be, look, if inflation slows down, there's going to be a lot of places you'll like long, but let's not forget those two names, because a lot of why CRM might have gotten beaten up on their last earnings the chart doesn't want to load, was definitely because they they lowered their guidance, and then they did cite that, of course, the U.S. dollar being strong would be a drag on some of their earnings from their foreign business. But that's another name that is up on the day today. And I'm not saying that it's going to move better than the rest of the market, but if you're tracking the USD, there are some equity names that might give you some potential upside. I mean, CRM well below the 50 period still, but made a nice bottom around 150. That's on my radar to be sure. Good company. Microsoft, we all know and love, but CRM, we don't want to sleep on that.
Is that on your radar, Tradar?
Yes.
Okay, so the 10-year, exactly, a good point by Mr. Frank Caberna from the Small Exchange. Also, 10-year made the highs on the same day, 348 right there. So 348.30 on the 10-year, same kind of a trade there. So I know Frank does talk about that a little bit. There it is right there on the 14th. So a week today, actually, today's the 21st. We made that high heading into the Fed. So, that's also something to look at on the 10-year. Just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. There it is here on the 14th. So straight to the downside, that has implications as well. I'll save that for the expert. That is Mr. Frank Caberna. Okay, Revlon, hello. Yeah, we got this, man. We'll take a dime piece. I told you how much we like dimes on this show, and there it is right there. We already took a piece out at 87. We're short there at 95. Remember, I paid, there it is. I mean, we paid 5 cents per share, so okay, we'll take 10 right there. And remember, when we pay for shares here, it's probably the same as you guys. We now, okay, Revlon. Maybe we can get down into this level right here that I was just looking at. 70, let's put a bid at 70 in case it comes back in. Don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll go 72. I don't care about being stop punted here. There's 130 million shares today on Revlon. We'll talk to Andrew about this one as well. I think the young kids might be all over this. Up, $6. Here it comes. Let's go. We got you have the short on this, or yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
so here it is, man. We're still sitting in the short. I've just been sort of scalping it out now. We're gonna have to wait to see where Revlon goes, but so far so good here on the SS, the short sale side of things. We're gonna wait to see about a 630 take. We are out of 40% now. Some of our outs there, our best one, well, you see, they're just right here, 84 and 86. So downside now, hopefully we can get into the 70s. That's just where we put our bid. So Revlon right now, lower. Let's see, do you have a target area for this? I mean,
VWAP is about, I'll be flat if it gets to
510? Yeah, okay, I mean, geez. If we get all the way down there, yeah, I'll probably be flat.
But I'm already out 2/3 of it.
Yeah, me too.
Right? So
well, I'm almost.
I'll be out almost everything if we get 550, and then the last little bit we'll hold for VWAP. And we're counter trend on Revlon. So look, the best part about it, and one of the reasons why this is so much of a value, I think, at least a decent value proposition, is you can sit there and say, okay, we're going against the grain, we're going against the trend here, but as the stock is moving, if you're not in the long from early, you're not necessarily going long up here up at the top. So it becomes, how do you analyze price action while trading in either direction and making decision points in every single price bucket? And that's what day traders do, and that's what we're able to provide. Whether we're going long or going short, sometimes might matter to you, maybe it doesn't, but that's one of the reasons that we do this, to show you what can happen. Thankfully, it's the first time it's actually broken through after doing one of those wick bottoms. I just got another out there. We're showing you the live fills. We're hopefully having a little bit of fun as we're doing it. And all we ask is you take a second, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We got some great guests coming today. If you don't like the show, when we got Rader Trader and Tony L. Tigre, Tuesdays with Tony, I mean, I don't know what else you're going to like. But that's a pretty great lineup, I think. But hey, what do I know? I
mean, if you don't like the entertainment, why don't you like the trades, man? I mean, let's go. It's the Money Bag Trade Show one more time. I mean, we just put on some trades for you. We put on AMD short, cash right now, Draftkings. I was even tweeting about all this. Well, not tweeting about it, but on the midday show, we talked about this, and I tweeted this out as well, that we are in this position. So there goes Draftkings to the downside. We just took Revlon. I even had to pay for these shorts to get these. And then there's Revlon down now 20 cents in the money. Sorry, 25 cents in the money now on Revlon. That still continued to go to the downside. AMC, I don't know if we're going to be into that one again. Right now, my big sort of thorn in my side, not thorn in my thigh, is this trade. I still feel like AMD wants to give it up now. The market just rallied up into, you know what? Either Amazon's a short or AMD is a short. I mean, I could go...
or Meta.
I could go... Yeah, Meta's just been getting killed. That's the main problem. AMD more short is fine at this level against 84.50. I still think that's fine. Yeah, let's add some shares here. So AMD downside, obviously Draftkings has been downside as well. We're gonna get a little more here on AMD just against that 85.50 level. Sorry, 84.50. I like that trade. Let's put on another piece. We are short now 84.60, so it's gonna not look as great there on the average price. But let's put on a few more shares here in the high teens and then see if this does want to make new lows here. I don't think this Kramer bottom, like Neil said, what is Kramer bottom? But there was, I mean, when it was falling down here, remember we went over to went over to NVIDIA, Intel, all that stuff, and nothing was crashing like this. And then there was something on TV there, I guess, about another talking head saying something about AMD. That brought it all the way to the downside, and then it made a bottom, and we were able to go long. We did switch up short, got out, then went long right in here, I believe, on a take of 83, back to the upside. So let's see if AMD can hold this. We're going to go short against 84.50. 84.50 gets taken. We'll be out of that one. But yeah, there goes Meta again, like it's 157 right now.
It's just so weak. And shout out to TradeX Freedom. who's got 25% of his short Meta at 160.20. That's a good price. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes just beat up on the weakest names. And like, it's not about beating up on it, but it's a reality of if you're active trading, where's the opportunity going to be? I said this morning I like the short on Boeing. It had just gone up so much, and I should probably show you a daily to give an idea. Look, such a strong move, and then it got right into this 140, 141. So I knew I wanted this thing short, but much like some of the longs, it didn't give you too much of a chance. It started screaming up like everything else. And one of the other things I've said in this market is, if we start trending in the market, just wait for your price if it's against the grain. So when I saw this going up, I was thinking, oh, you're going to get 142. Don't chase, don't go early. And then it just died off 141. I didn't get it off the lower high. I've only made this curl here when it got to 138. I'm looking for a reload, actually. Probably going to reload right around here. The market, again, off those highs and making lows. This has been a relatively weak name. Great week last week, and I know I was basically long this almost every single chance we got last week, but this is a different week, and we got the resistance. So I'll be reloading this close to 138 to try to continue this party. Amazon's actually come back close to that 109, but it's not very volatile here outside of these crazy wicks, which are just late reporting dark pools. But it's not really doing a heck of a lot. So as you're seeing other names fall off, Amazon feels like it might want to try and test out this 109.25. So I'll be a little more patient, waiting for a better price here. And guess what Revlon did? This is why you've got to take profit, man. Sitting down there, I'm like, yeah, we'll hold on to a piece in case we get down to VWAP. It does another wick bottom, now right back toward those highs. I'm going to adjust my stop. And then I'm going to see if we don't get an opportunity to reload. This is the deepest pullback that it's had. So all of a sudden it looks a little better up for a reload here. When it hadn't broken this 590, I would have said you don't want to reload back up at the top, because if you see the top again, it's probably going to break it. At least now it feels like there's some sellers starting to take control.
All right. We did reload it. So we got it at 604 there. To the downside, I mean, we could easily take 5 cents, but we don't want to do that. Our average price now is 98. And just like Neil said, this is how I trade. And like, that's why we take out that profit. It went right down to 72. Like, look, and then it gives me the chance just to reload that again right there. So, I mean, there's a couple ways to skin a cat, right? I'll just keep on taking that money every time if it's going to be available to us. But at the same time, you got to have, and I heard Ian explaining this too, the risk versus reward on the trades, right? And I mean, I agree. If you see that, I mean, if you see anywhere near 620 again, that's going to be a problem. Obviously, you're going to leave it till 630, but this one has room to run and can easily take out that high. So I'm not like, want to celebrate this reload. We just reloaded here at 04. I mean, it's right back to 04. So that's what I'm saying. It needs to get back down. We need to take down this 50 period at 94, which is approximately where I'm waiting. I'm actually waiting at 91. So here we go. Now Revlon to the upside. This could turn out to be a loser after all, right? We're short 98. We just took that's double barrels there at 15 cents. Sorry, 10 cents and then 15 cents. And then that big one was a 71 or 72. So that was 23 cents. So even if we were to lose now, we're still okay on the trade. Obviously, we don't want to be in this situation, but we're going to have to watch out for that 630 top on Revlon. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. I mean, 500 likes, not even. 539 right now, 4,000 watching. Let's go. I mean, we could just tell Tony to stay back there. I mean, I feel like people want to see Tony, so let's go on that one. He has a minimum like count requirement, so and I believe that was 1,000. So we have to get that going for Tony to come out. And we feel, we don't want to keep always asking for them, but that's the way we've seen it's been working. So if you hit the like, it tends to drive up our exposure. So that's what we're all about right here. We're doing the whole show for free. So let's get on that front if you can. And then there's the AMD reload right here. Like I said, the market is now starting to try to go up a little bit. So these aren't like big, heavy positions. If there's a move one way or the other, then we will take that move. But for right now, the NASDAQ is trying to get above the 50 period. If that happens, then yeah, I mean, we will dump that. That's why our AMD out is pretty tight, to be honest with you. So there it is there, 11,610 or so on the NASDAQ. If it takes that out, then yeah, we do have that 84.50 looming right now on AMD. So right now, all good, man, all good. We're in the money now, a dime on AMD. It was, remember, we were short 60s up here, but we have averaged in on this short. So let's see if that can continue to work in Revlon. Still down to $6, man. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a lower bid here. I'm at 591.
Yeah, I've reloaded on Revlon, and just watch out for some of these names that are super strong. I know I'm short NIO, but that has just been off of this 23 top. It's right back just above 23 even. It's got a 23.10 top. I'm going to stop out at the high of the day. As a matter of fact, actually just adjusting my order as we speak because I did get some profit out there, so I want to make sure I adjust it. I don't want to be long through the high on NIO, so I'm not going to reverse this position. I do have a block long, squares I like to call it, because that's what I'm used to calling it. And we grabbed this one because we missed out on our chance to buy the dip, and then there was the breakout. And I didn't take the breakout on Square, but if you're going to break out off a pre-market high and then establish that as support, a lot of times I'm going to like to take that trade off lunchtime. I mean, ideally, that would have been how we'd be in Revlon, but that didn't quite set up, or maybe it did and I just wasn't aggressive enough. That's probably, the latter is actually probably true. It did set up in this fashion. I just wasn't aggressive enough to take it, but we did grab some square off 61s. I'm just going to quickly stop out if it breaks the 61 area. I mean, if we're not strong enough as the market gets back to a high to retest the highs on block, then I don't want to get stubborn. I've taken a scalp out into VWAP here, and it's barely gotten above a couple of times. But for now, it is managing to hold some support, so we do like it. I'm going to reload on Boeing, but it's got to be tighter to 138. And if you're watching that Tesla, which I'm trading NIO, so yes, I'm going to care if Tesla takes out the high of the day. Tesla now just $3 away from that 730 top that it's got put in, 730 and 75 cents, but that's splitting hairs. The strongest name out there, just in terms of velocity this morning, was definitely Tesla. If it takes out the high, you got to watch out for some of your shorts. Brendan.
I saw some of these monkeypox stocks pop up again. There was a note suggesting more cases in New York City. So you can see volume coming back into SIGA. However, the more interesting note here, guys, like this thing's up 5.5% anyways today, even before that happened.
Well, Sega was up without headlines.
I mean, we already know about Sega. Hold on a second, guys.
Follow the Sega.
Yeah, follow the Sega. You can see here, this is the situation on it. Sega Technologies, a decent float. So it's not like it's a completely minuscule float, 40 million. It's still not huge. That may not fit some of your scanners to that. And the short float is only 7%. So it's not, this is not something that's going to show up on those kind of scanners. But again, apparently, we've talked about this one with the monkeypox and everything. So, oops, that's still Draftkings. Oh, we just took a piece out at 30. That's what I wanted to show you. So we're just slowly getting out of this one in case we do get a little bit of a move upside here in the market to close. I am nervous about that level. But there's Sega. I thought we were looking at like 13 or 14 as a level on the daily chart here for SIGA. Oh, there it is. Is this my daily? No, this is, yes. There it is right here. Yeah, so there it is. So it is 14. It's $13.50, $14 here as a possible high. It just dipped down into 9. I mean, it's been hovering. The interesting thing about this stock, really, to be quite frank, obviously, is, it's held above VWAP during this whole time. So as it got crazy, it's the 50 period, just as good as VWAP, but it's held above it this whole time. So for me, a little bit of a surprise action there. Yeah, that's the thing. The minute you break 850, I think it might be game over on that. Did we just get a Revlon fill?
Revlon just filled, yeah.
Well, yes, it did.
Yeah, if you're sitting 90, 91.
Yeah, we got a 91 there on Revlon. So we'll go, yeah, like that, whatever this one means. And then we'll finally spin this. Money. I think it's been all day for this one, but there it is, man. Great fill for us on Revlon, man. We just got a 591 there. Look, if you're not bidding anything, then you're not going to get the fill. So that's the fill right there. Great reload. Paying for the shorts, as our friend Arun would not. I will. Nice little short there on Revlon. I know Neil has that as well. Oh, Arun's in the building tomorrow for you.
So Arun is in the building tomorrow, but so Arun, who fills in, he's our resident futures trader.
Yes.
He won't pay for shorts out of principle, no matter how cheap they are. But the fees aren't cheap when you trade on the futures. So essentially you're paying, even for us, compared to trading equities, man, you can't say it's because you're cheap when you do it. And someone in the chat, I think it was Kling Daddy, just said, please stop apologizing for people who short intraday. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even realize that if I said I'm sorry for doing this or sorry for shorting, I didn't even realize I said it. Maybe it's just the Canadian thing. But I get it. And it's one thing, and I understand people that maybe you own a stock and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't like it when people short the stock. The truth of the matter is it's just a market function, and day traders that go short, they're not doing anything we're covering at the end of the day. If you have an issue with people leaning on stocks, day traders can't really do that. It's completely, almost impossible for us unless you're holding overnight and putting on much larger, more significant positions. And realistically, Revlon, it's been blowing through day traders all day. So, people are going to take profits somewhere, and we're just here to be able to try to take advantage of this. Just going back over to a couple of names that you mentioned Alibaba already. But I think it was JD.com. And if we're looking for, if the market were to roll over, I don't want to lose sight of this because of all of the Chinese listed, ADRs. JD is the weakest of the bunch today, down 3.5%. If we do get a bit of a rollover, I know I'm short NIO, but I don't want to lose sight of this because we get below VWAP and extend. This could be something worth shorting here. We always talk about relative strength and weakness, and I feel like this is one that got away because it's been the weakest of the bunch from the get-go today. Brendo?
Huge move down for CRISPR Therapeutics here. Just looking into this right now, but a heads up here. CRSP on a flush.
Oh, I thought I read something about that.
Okay, AMD right here. Rader Trader is here now, so we're throwing over to him very, very shortly. But here we go. So we're here again for you guys. Let's just see where we go from here, though. As just getting some orders all checked out, we want to make sure that AMD. I mean, I do have a bid down low here, 84.02. Kind of random, I know. But 84.02, we do have that fill coming hopefully soon to the downside. So that's that trade now. Good reload, I feel like, but it was only reloaded at 18. We tried to get more in the mid-30s there. We stumbled and didn't get anything in the mid-30s. So that kind of sucks. We would have loved to have that as a better lock on that trade. Draftkings does pull back. Again, I just feel like I want to take some more out here. We've been absolutely on one today, so, no real complaints on anything. Our trading has been hot fire. I think you guys have seen a lot of that here today, and let's just keep it, there it is. I mean, let's go, man. Spin it one more time. Let's go. It's a good trade for us, man. Yeah, Sharif, I hope you're having a good day as well. This DraftKings, I mean, look at these reloads right here. Down, like so. And again, it's not to pick on, these poor DraftKings, FanDuels, Penn, all that kind of stuff. And you know what Neil was saying? I'm sorry. I was saying that to Prad because Prad was, saying, oh man, it's like he only owns 3 stocks, like Palantir, AMD, DraftKings, and Apple, and something else. Maybe he owns 4 or 5 of them.
I think it is only those 4.
I think it's anyways, and I always feel bad every time it's going downside. But, I do think that honestly this could be like kind of a small cap summer here. The beatdown names could start to get some bids, and every time they do, I'm happy for them because I like this day. Look, if you could end the day with DraftKings up 7%, that's great. And if I could end the day with DraftKings up 7%, that is also great. So let's have this short. Let's see if it comes back in. We'll wait for about a 12.20 spot here on DKNG, and hopefully that will come through sooner rather than later. Looks like we might be all set to go. Let's throw it over to Brendan quickly to see what's up.
CRISPR, guys, huge move, as I mentioned, to the downside. There's an investor day going on. They're updating, apparently, one of the treatments they're working on the cancer side of things. Looks like it was a complete fail for them. So a monster move here now, 8% to the downside again at an investor day or on a call, it would appear, updating a cancer treatment they're working on that was a complete write-off, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's
yikes.
Obviously not good. Clearly,
sucks.
Yeah. That sucks. And the truth of the matter is, right? Like down 10%, but you never want to see any kind of a drug company have bad news because at the end of the day, it's probably good for us when they succeed. But we're here to talk about price action. It did not. Okay, so it didn't halt on this move, which
strange.
Fair enough. That's fine. But the bid has managed to try to pick up here. A lot of times the first thing I look for is what's the obvious level that you think it would pick up a bid. You can kind of say 63, but I'd have been looking at $60 to be honest with you when you have that type of event. Anytime it's a biopharma type of name, I generally think it's going to have a bigger flush than maybe normal. It's not like Facebook when Sheryl Sandberg leaves. Where you look at the first support level you can find and just try to buy it up there. I think you got to be a little bit more a little bit more cautious would be the word there. So 60 would make some sense if it catches a bid, but even then, that just looks crazy. We just get another push down. Yeah, we got another push down on Revlon there. So it looks like it's going to give us another chance to get some shares out, which I should definitely be doing because every time this feels like it's going to capitulate, it manages to catch some kind of a bid. So always bag your profits. And back to B.
So it looks like guys, they on the oncology side of things, they basically didn't even provide an update when they were promising one was coming, and they moved right into the other divisions that they're working on. So one of the treatments assumed then to be a complete fail for them because they didn't provide any update whatsoever. So not good, yeah, as you were saying, for CRISPR.
That's really, if you just kind of like slap by and ignore it, that's actually worse than providing bad news. But yeah, I mean, you hate to see it, obviously. If it gets to 60, I'll definitely be looking at it, but I don't think it's an auto long. I'm sitting in this Twitter trade, I'm bouncing off you up here, and I really just wanted to get back to the high of the day with the markets. One thing that Twitter does do is generally just follow the market, right? I mean, it did have that positive note. So if I felt like there was a relatively safe long, and I should have actually loaded up on this in VWAP, but I wasn't paying enough attention to it. I'm gonna start getting on the offer here. It is something I'm sitting in. It's not gonna give you huge moves, but if you do, like if you're just looking for something that might have scalpable levels and is going to, generally speaking, follow the market, know that there's headline risk, so you're trading it with a stop almost always. I would not trade this thing unless you have a stop order placed through some of those lows. So I don't want this breaking down below like this 38.35. My stop is in place just to make sure that doesn't happen on me. I reloaded Boeing, and of course now the market is testing those highs. So I got this consolidation. If it takes out the top just through 138, we'll have to give up on Boeing. Square, I didn't get the reload on just now. Looks like that's going to continue to churn back up. Look at it bounce off that 61. It was a really quick bounce off 61 even. Really didn't get much of a chance to get in there, but it's right back up to VWAP and about 40 cents in the money. I'm looking to take a buck, $1.25 here if we can get it back toward highs, as now we are ready for our first guest of the day.
Yeah, as promised. Happy to have Andrew Rader, Rader Trader, back with us once again to get a take from him on how he's looking at the markets today and over the past couple of weeks. Great to see you, as always, Andrew. Exciting day here. Lots moving, lots going on, lots of volume, which has been impressive this week. How has your day been? What have you been looking at?
Great to be back on, first of all. And of course, so as far as this trading day, big bounce over, I think, $9 gap up there in SPY. Pretty insane there. But what I've been looking at, especially the last few days, is what identifies a bottom for me as a trader. And normally I like to see financials, copper, transportation, some of those sorts like to lead the charge off of the bottom. Now, as you guys have seen, growth actually led this bounce here. So to me personally, I think we're not actually warranted for the bottom here. I love seeing financials hold, and I think another leg down is really what's going to test this market and see, can financials hold and give us that bottom that we need, whether that's down there at 350 or somewhere just pennies below the new low.
It's a great point. I like your artwork in the background, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention Mr. Sean and Neil. And then I got, of course, Brendan right here back there to remind me.
Is that an iPad stand or something?
It's a light stand. So
okay,
it actually turns on and you glow. Watch this.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Even better. I want to talk a little bit about some of the volume that we're seeing, because it's great to see. First of all, how often do you look at the smaller cap stocks in the world, and how often are you paying attention to some of the names that social media is picking up? I'm slowly getting to Revlon here in this conversation, but when it comes to some of these social media type stocks that are getting pumped on Twitter or StockTwits or whatever you want to point to, impressive volume, regardless of how it gets there. But give me your take on some of these names that we've seen over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, volume rushes are definitely going to be more common. As far as names that I'm looking at, smaller caps, definitely a lot of the lagging sectors in biotech. I've mentioned that last time. I think healthcare and biotech were one sector I was keeping my eye on as we drop lower and lower. But as far as, Revlon, great point. I heard you and I think Sean mentioned that as well. A consumer discretionary name. And over the last few days, weeks, we've had discretionaries lagging a lot. And as we know, Friday, the witching event happening, a lot of people need to move money. And when these contracts expire, when all this money needs to be moved, it often gets carried into these lagging sectors. So that's when you get the Revlons. That's when you get the smaller caps start to pick up, as those were the ones left behind at the start of the race. So definitely some biotech names. I've been watching LabU. It's a 3X ETF for biotech. And I'm just trying to see, can I get a position on this swing for July 15th? That's my target. and other smaller cap names as well. You'll see a lot of volume rush in here as this market becomes more data dependent. The Fed even talked about this. They said, we need more data. We need more data. And as you get more data, not only is Twitter going to just rally up these names that they find in the closet of their grandma's house, but they're also going to come in and swoop this data. Hey, GDP's released. Hey, this released. We're going to swoop in. Here comes the volume, and you better be a part of it.
Comes to the overall move in the market, and I like what you said there to kind of kick this off in the sense that, regardless of whether this is the bottom, it doesn't have to be. We're not saying it is. It's a nice move back to the upside as well. But we're in a bear market, meaning typically any bounce that happens in the overall market gets sold. What do you need to see personally to feel a little more confident to the upside?
Definitely a lot of bullish participants, pickups, what I like to call it, and of course, levels holding. So one way to easily identify this from a chart, is there a lot of bottom tailing wicks? Is there a lot of levels that are holding despite the sell pressure, whatever? And these are the levels you want to watch out for. So definitely be looking for, does the market struggle to make a new low? Does it struggle to push lower? Are these candles that you're watching big fat candles? I call them Clifford candles, big Clifford candles, the big red ones. And are you seeing these the buying pressure, the what I like to call? So if you're seeing a chart, you saw it Friday, lots of wicks on bottom. That's telling you just from a visual standpoint, very basic standpoint, that there are a lot of pickups and bullish participants.
Rader with us, Rader trader once again. I want to pass you off to the guys here and get your thoughts on some individual stocks specifically today and also over the past little while. But I'm going to pull out the EV group here because huge moves in the entire thing today, the entire group as a whole today. Is there one or two names from the EV sector that has you excited right now?
Yeah, one of those is Tesla. We all know it's a big mover, averaging, I think, $40, $50 a day. I've been watching Tesla. In fact, one of those was the long play that I took this morning, 12%, I think, up to the upside. So if it's going to be me from a day trader standpoint, I'm excited about Tesla. I've been jumping in on this week after week.
Yo, what's up, man? First of all,
what's up, guys?
What's up, man? Like, how
love them picks.
How smart are you, anyways? Like, can you give me a little bit of a background, maybe on your education, where you learned to speak like this? I mean, when you're talking about data dependencies and all these kind of this is absolutely amazing. With somebody that has probably a son your age, it's unbelievable where you get this from. So, do you mind sharing and where this knowledge comes from, Andrew?
Yeah, so I started out as a guru on social media, and I had a little bird swoop down and pick me up. His name was Zach, and all credit to him. He took me under his wing, and for the last few years, he's been just hammering me day after day, getting on lessons with me, talking through me how to speak, and most importantly, how to trade. But in those sessions, he talked a lot about human psychology and how to really build your character, how you speak, how you present yourself, because that ultimately reflects on your trading. And if you can improve, the markets, it's just a human mind. It's a reflection of human psychology. So if you can master yourself, if you can master communicating and developing those relationships, you'll see it in the market.
Amazing, amazing. I hope it's not that Zach Morris dude, but we'll leave that for another day as we go. But yeah, no, that's absolutely fantastic. Would you consider yourself more like, we're just day trading here because we have to flatten our positions at the end of every single day. So you talked about a few swing ideas. I love some of those names, that LabU that you're talking about. The biotech, I think, is really hot, obviously, right now. What is the general duration? Would you hold the trade for weeks at a time, maybe? What has maybe been your most profitable trade in the last few months, if you don't mind sharing? Just any ideas like that you might either have moving forward, but more importantly, what was your biggest win maybe in the last couple months, and what was the duration of that?
Yeah, so definitely a different market. The bottom in March we saw last time, that was probably my biggest trade in the last few months. I think I started picking up entries on March 14th, but that was a scenario where we saw financials and all that hold. Now that we're in that, like I said, data dependent market, volatility is going to just be insane, and it's almost going to be unpredictable, depending if we get this mixed bag of data from if we get a positive GDP print, well, that clears us for the next 6 months for optimism, because economics, economicists, whatever you want to call them, I can't say the term right now, but they refer to two red GDP prints in a row as a recession indicator, whatever. But since all this stuff is a mixed bag of data. We can expect anything. I've really shortened that time frame. So my most profitable trade was that March trade. I think those calls I held them for a while, went over 700%. But as of recently, call it luck of the draw or whatever, I did get puts on that double gap down. We saw I didn't hold all contracts through the double gap down, trimmed them on the way down. But regardless, that was probably the biggest one.
There we go. I put that, oh my God, there. I didn't realize how long that would stay. So let's just do this instead.
For the win.
Awesome. Right there. And look, I know you said that, be lucky there and that, but like sometimes we get fills on the show. Neil will say this true. It's like if you don't have a bid out there or you don't have an order out, then you can't get the fills. So luck for sure plays a big part in it, but you still got to be able to put that bid out. So yeah, I know we have a lot of examples of 100%.
That. One of the things I love that you said there, sort of master yourself, master communication. One thing I tell traders is you think. Look, realistically, you think how you speak, and the verbiage that you end up using sometimes can coach your mind. So don't speak in certainties, because trading is anything but that, which I do like sort of hearing out of you. I got a cool question about the Fed and the recent number that we just had. I know there's the pattern that we're able to see there. And by the way, everybody, Revlon broke the high of the day. I should probably get that out of the way. I know everyone's following Revlon today. It's like that stock. Maybe it's going to head to $7. We'll see, but the squeeze is definitely on there. But the pattern that we saw with the Fed, essentially you ran both times on the release into a recent high. I have the SPY up here. I don't know if we can quickly go to my chart just to demonstrate it. You ran up into a recent high and then flushed. And then we had essentially the same thing. Like you ran up to like what would have been previous support, or AKA resistance or weak highs, failed to break through, and then another flush down. Now what we had in the aftermath of that was essentially reclaiming the lows, and then you were never sort of able to get back toward that high, holding the 50. You mentioned what you're looking for from a fundamental level, from a higher data-driven look at what it will take for us to be out of a temporary bottom. I'm sort of saying you need that, and to actually see us clear through not just one level of resistance, maybe two at least, which we have not seen happen on the SPY. What's that first step for you to start hunting some long opportunities there? Is it really all data, or are there some technicals out there for you as well?
No, definitely some technicals, absolutely. But as far as this, I actually my community, they always make fun of me for saying absolutely. So just to let you know, I do say it a lot. But otherwise, as far as identifying technicals, what I look for is not to time the bottom. A lot of people, if you're out there at home, it's very hard to time bottoms. It might make the most sense to, hey, I make the most profit if I get this to this. But in reality, that might not be the trade. The trade might be that you actually get the move up and you start to hold a level higher, and that's where the failed break is to the downside, and that's the best long. Even if it means less money, if you start to practice those habits over time, you're going to get that. So from a technical standpoint with the FOMC, the minutes and all the Fed talks and stuff, you got to think about these things conceptually. Like, for example, that the pump we had at the Fed, that big candle, we made another high after that, very weak, but you didn't see any colossal move after that. And that tells you that, well, kind of what's that kind of entail for the future, right? If we can't break this high here, the market's already digesting this news. If it doesn't digest it, then it's, probably going to have to go to the bathroom and start hurling in the toilet, So that's why you get that big gap down. And it's kind of just thinking about those ideas. But as far as a technical standpoint, I like looking at put and call walls. I've mentioned this before. The rebalancing with the quad witching as of Friday is a great kind of a setup for me this week to see where are they putting money. And if they're putting money in these growth stocks, if they're going risk on, if people are seeing these big jumps in the discretionary tech, financials, right? If we start to see people pile into these stocks and you see these levels holding, then that kind of tells you this might be the setup for a more optimistic move into the GDP number, July 28th, I believe.
Great stuff. Andrew Rader trader, back with us once again. I want to wrap things up here with another market that's been wild over, the springtime and heading into the summer here, and that is energy. I mean, geopolitical, issues aside, we're holding above 110, we're holding above 115, we're stuck in this range if you look at a daily chart for crude oil. Is there one or two names in the group itself that you've been kind of eyeing for maybe a summertime move, or how much are you, paying attention to what's happening in the oil and energy markets these days?
Yeah, so personally, from an energy standpoint, I honestly got mad day after day seeing XLE at the top of the leaderboard. It just got, at this point, I just stopped looking at it. But regardless of that, we did get that huge drop in some of these energy names, and I do expect another leg up. It just comes natural. We're going to get that summertime move, and all those seasonalities are set to start to, disfavor these here in the future. I think the real move is going to be another big jump to the upside, and then eventually I'm probably going to play the short. I think long-term speaking, these energy prices, regardless of what you say, will eventually come down. Now, whether that's going to be through some sort of, fiscal policy, I think there's going to be some move to the downside there. It's just not sustainable for these $10+ gallon prices. We've never seen it last more than, a year at max. I saw a screenshot from California, $11.70 a gallon at one point. That's just unsustainable. Whether it's fiscal policy, subsidies, whatever needs to get out there, I believe there is going to be a rebalancing in energy. It has ran the last few quarters, especially.
Yeah, it's been an impressive couple of months, even for the individual stocks, if you want to break it down into those. Andrew Rader, great information as always. Always a pleasure to have him on and discuss what is happening in the overall market. Check him out on socials, guys. Andrew Rader, thanks for doing this again.
Thank you guys so much.
Have a good one.
Dude, that Andrew Rader there. Yeah, maybe we do need to get rid of Prad and bring that guy on for the midday show.
That is cold-blooded.
That's cold-blooded. But that's fine. I'm all about being cold-blooded. Prad makes fun of our age, so we'll replace Prad with somebody
Yeah, you know
younger.
what, Prad?
How you like that?
I didn't hear Andrew talk crap about our age once.
Yeah,
With Prad's
exactly.
like, boomer this and
Boomer
old man that and blah, blah,
Kanye
blah,
West
blah.
this and Little Dirk that, whatever that means.
I don't even know who this is. Is that a real rapper?
Yeah, Little Dirk. Yeah, it's a real rapper. Entertainer. I don't know. They called rappers these days. But yeah, and that was awesome. That we had the pictures in the background and stuff. Yeah. That was pretty cool. So shout out to Andrew as well. Check him out at Rader Trader. So thank you so much for that one. Meanwhile,
guess what's moving?
Yeah, meanwhile, Revlon back in the short, got blown out there. It's funny because still net positive on this name, but yeah, it wants to take that money and run, baby, right now. So we'll just stick with what we do best. We've been shorting AMD and getting out here as we had Andrew on. Our best short, of course, was 35.36, and we just took a piece out right there as well. It's very small, these trades. We're just kind of like milking it. Not much has come down since that 84.20, and I feel like it just wants to do this the rest of the day here. So we're waiting for some lower bids. I am bidding right now 02s. So yeah, let's see if we do get a flush back down here 284, and we also are waiting to get more short at 38. Of course, it just goes to 37 there before coming back down. But that's what I'm working with right now. We are getting all lined up for our next guest of the day. And how fun is it when we get multiple guests today? And everybody knows
doing it for you today.
Yeah, it's Tuesdays with Tony getting set up right now beside us. So that should be a hell of a lot of fun. Get your questions in the chat if you want anything there for Tony to answer. I feel like Q&A with Tony would be wild. So hopefully we can get that going on.
Let's go Revlon.
Yeah, let's go Revlon.
We'll do this celebration for. I'm already out of 2/3 of Revlon off that $7. It's down to $6.66. I just got a fill at $6.66. I don't know why I picked that number. I'll get some out in front of $6.50, and then that breakout of $6.20. That seems like a good level. I mean, every single time you hold for more, the stock gets to the high of the day. That's the reality. Like even a small pullback is pretty much all it's been giving you. The last pullback from 620 went about 60 pennies, so about 10%. So getting down to 620 makes some sense to me as well on Revlon. I will mention that the market, by the way, we said Revlon broke out. We should not ignore what the market just did, which is the NASDAQ getting close to the highs, but the ES very briefly took the high of the day. When that happened, I was able to get out of some Twitter shares. We talked about it following the market. So it followed the market all the way to its high of the day. I just felt like it was a low-hanging fruit, a little bit of a positive story from Elon there this morning. So it is close to those highs. I'm getting out at 39. I think there's limited upside to how far this can go. And if the market were to reverse, no need to throw away those profits. So I'm going to get on the offer in front of 39 here, ring the register on the last of these Twitter shares, and we'll see if Revlon can actually get to 650.
Yeah, hopefully it can. I mean, that's literally where I'm bidding It hasn't. I'm actually bidding below that. I'm bidding below 650. Let's see if we do get that move coming through. So just let me know in my ear, guys, and we'll get ready to rock and roll on that one. So yeah, Revlon, just be very careful with it. We've been seeing this today. Obviously, its movements have been pretty fun, but not overly that fun for Revlon, especially if you've been short. We'll see if it can come back down and just hit 58, 59 there. We're just on a reload right now on that position, but let's hit the bumper when you get a second. When you're ready. There it is. It's Tuesdays with Tony. I mean, how many guests get their own little bumper like that with the action, the pointing? We actually today we had selfies, Tony. You remember that?
Yes, we did.
Me and Tony did a selfie to celebrate. And here it is right here on, if you want to come over here, there's Tony. There he is right there. We got locked and loaded up. So we are now in the building, Tony. So first things first, how are you, my friend? Did you have a good weekend?
Oh yes, I had a great weekend. It was, I was licking my lips watching crypto prices fall. I was like, dang, if only I had some discretionary funds at the moment, I would like to buy myself a nice big juicy Bitcoin. That would be very, very satiable for me, but unfortunately, you're still living paycheck to paycheck. So, well, maybe someday, that's the plan. I'll accumulate one over the next year or two during this crypto winter. But yeah, it was a very fascinating weekend. I know it's a long weekend. I hope everyone watching had a great long weekend over in the States. Yeah, hopefully today has been profitable for you guys.
Sure.
How was your guys' weekend?
It's been pretty good there. So did you have, I mean, I know you dropped a lot of knowledge on crypto last time you were with us. Is there a level that, I mean, would have you just, let's just say you had said discretionary income.
Yes.
Would have you just bought, like, are you looking at 20? Are you looking at 18 where we got down to? Or is there a level maybe where you've done a little bit of work? Because believe me, Tony, a man like you has income coming their way. So get ready to dip buy. Is there a level maybe that you're looking at? You can actually go over to Neil's screen, or you can have it too, Tony. If you do have anything up, we can go to his screen as well. There it is. What are you looking at here? Because, yeah, I need some ideas where to start going long.
Oh, absolutely. People are talking about 19,000, I believe, a lot, around 18,000, 19,000, depending on which exchange you were using at the time back in late 2017, early 2018. That used to be the previous crypto peak that a lot of people were saying, no, I can't possibly go below the previous peak. Well, as it would happen, it has. We hit 17.8 this past Saturday around 5 p.m. Eastern as I was watching it. So well below the peak from December 2017 now. So people are now asking, what's the next level? People actually predicted there would be a bounce. Now we're back up to around 21,000. So for me, it seems like less of a deal. This is a nice, I think, 20-25% bounce right here we saw in the last couple of days. But for the moment, I'm just buying, I don't know, it's hard to say actually. On one hand, I want to buy everything in this market. Seeing all these tech names, you know, I want to buy Tesla, I want to buy Netflix, I want to buy Apple, I want to buy everything in the queues. But that being said, rates are going higher. The price of money is increasing and increasing. Inflation is very much real, and I'm paying a lot more for my hamburgers there, as you guys know I really enjoy. So I'm trying to find some spare change at the moment, dump it into crypto whenever I have the opportunity. But for me, the game plan, I think, is to try to accumulate a whole Bitcoin sometime this year, including next year, perhaps maybe a year and a half, try to get it done there. But people are saying it's crypto winter. The trend is pointing downwards. There's no point to rush to jump into this market. People are saying once inflation bottoms, we might see some of the other asset classes, mainly equities, bottom as well, and that might be a good time to buy crypto. I know a couple of friends that got quite a bit interested in crypto as well recently with the drop, and to them, all I can say is I think the only one that kind of makes sense is to dollar cost average, perhaps putting a little bit of your paycheck week after week with your discretionary income, just so you can average out the price a little bit. But yeah, for me, I'm trying to accumulate one perhaps the rest of this year or next year.
Before, I know you want to say something, Neil. I just want to say one thing about this. I've already noticed the maturity in Tony, because now he's using words like discretionary income. You know, a couple weeks ago, it was like, where's the credit card that I can take some money out to start to buy? So I do like the fact that we're not throwing hard-earned money into something like crypto and dollar cost averaging. Wow, I got to say a big congratulations to Tony there.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead, Neil. I just wanted to bring that up.
Well, okay, so Tony, obviously you dropped some knowledge last week, and you're talking about crypto. One of the things that we've been mentioning, I know you were talking about in depth, was some of the equity names, and of course, you have MicroStrategy, which, you know, obviously Bitcoin did get to that magic number and blew past it to the downside. But now that you're through that, and you see some of the bottoms that got made at MicroStrategy, say Coinbase, and and given the bottom that we've had in Bitcoin in particular, what is your stance on these? Because if they're the worst out of it has possibly happened, the thought could be, well, if you don't take out the bottom, I mean, Coinbase here around $60, MicroStrategy bracing off some of those lows. If Bitcoin doesn't see 17,000, let's just say we get to 25 before then, you could see some outsized move because really, Coinbase has been pretty stable down here in this range. MicroStrategy might have just dodged the biggest bullet you've ever seen. So what are your thoughts on some of those names? And maybe a little bit more tricky to do something like dollar cost average. Those feel like shot plays, no?
Absolutely, it certainly does. I've seen a lot of crypto names these days, stocks related. A lot of these companies, unfortunately, have been trading a lot more in line with, I think, the stock market than the actual crypto market, especially with some of the names like Coinbase laying off 18% of its employees, Gemini, Crypto.com as well, laying off some of the employees there. I think a lot of these companies are starting to contract a little bit. I think that's nice about having the crypto itself is that they don't have to have those payroll expenses and they just exist indefinitely, so long as the technology supports it. But like you're saying about MicroStrategy, or as I like to call it, Michael's strategy, Michael Saylor there, calling his company a Bitcoin company. It's a Bitcoin holding company, as he says it. Also, we do sell business intelligence software on the side, but it's just a side hustle. Don't let that confuse you with the fact that MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin company. And so for that, MicroStrategy at the moment holds around, I think, 128, 129,000 Bitcoins in their cold wallet at the moment. They're the largest wallet out there, by the way, owns about 1% of the current available float of the crypto, of the Bitcoin that's not lost, I should say. It's actually kind of hard for me to more or less look at this company. On one hand, I think they can definitely continue raising debt. They do have a steady stream of revenues coming from their business intelligence software. That being said, the market cap of the company is about half of the coins that they hold. So for me, I treat this more as like a leveraged Bitcoin ETF. But of course, you take a look at all these names, they move with the ebbs and flows of the actual stock market, more or less, I'd say. Less so with the actual price of Bitcoin. I notice if Raya Blockchain, another big name right here, it's a Bitcoin miner, one of the larger names. That being said, I believe, like, I forget the exact price values, but this thing, I believe, is profitable so long the Bitcoin is up above the 20 or so thousand range. This was a lot more expensive back when Bitcoin was hitting above 21,000 for the first time around than it is now with the price of all these cryptos falling. For me, I'd stick to the cryptos itself as a long-term investor. A lot of these companies, they have expenses, they have fees they have to pay, and they have to be in compliance with the NASDAQ listing standards. So, for me personally, I think it's safer to buy one of the cryptocurrencies itself and hold it on a cold wallet if you have some sort of a nano ledger. That being said, if you're holding it onto an exchange, make sure they're not offering some crazy yields on a stablecoin, because otherwise you might get Celsius networked or you might get Mt. Gox or something like that. You have to think about the liquidity of the exchange you're holding your coins on is something else, I'd say.
I like all that. And we'd had Sam Bankman-Fried on,
Yes.
as you're aware as well there, Tony, and said the same thing. Just make sure if you're going to hold something on exchange that it's on a more reputable one. I like cold storage as well. I have a little Trezor wallet, so hold some on there as well.
Ooh,
just while you've been talking, though, AMD, some nice moves. We were able to get that 38 there short, out right there at the 50 period, 28. So another dime. We'll still scalp out if it does come to the upside now again one more time. But Tony, before we let you go, and I know we're getting sort of on in time here, you wanted to talk a little bit about central banks.
Yes.
And some of the rates and what's going on there. So if you want, 5 minutes again right now, talk a little bit about central banks and your thought there. You can call them up on some charts. But let's hear what you have to say about that. The Bitcoin stuff's been great.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yeah, central banks. It's been a very exciting week last week with the Fed rate decision up now 75 basis points in the month of June, and some members calling for a 75 basis point rate again in the month of July. So that's very fascinating to look at. And of course, it's not exclusive to the U.S. or the Federal Reserve or JPAL. We saw Swiss National Bank increasing their rates for the first time in 15 years, now up to negative 25 basis points rather than negative 75. They had that negative 75 to discourage people from holding it as a safe haven currency for a long time. As well, ECB earlier this month, around 2 weeks ago, stating that they will raise their interest rates first time in 11 years, anticipated 25 basis point rise over in July. As well, Bank of Canada over here where we are, they're starting to follow America as well. Actually, they've been doing a very good job following America, up 50 basis points to a 1.5% interest rate rise now. Across the board, a lot of central banks have been realizing that we are in a bit of an inflation bubble at the moment. A lot of these asset prices are coming down, as they should, and central banks are realizing that they need to tighten the monetary supply, starting to shrink their balance sheet. That is all but one bank, however, that stands out at a very, very interesting outlier. And if you heard me talk about this before, you probably already know. The Bank of Japan is committed to keeping their interest rates at negative 10 basis points. They're saying that they'll continue to inject money into their economy without stopping, continuing their dovish policies, without end. Unlimited buying of the 10-year government bonds. They're trying to defend the 25 basis point peg under 10 years over here, trying to make sure that their government bonds do not go above 0.25. They injected a total of $81 million in the span of around a week, I believe, into their bond buying frenzy, which is the equivalent of Jay Powell just told you guys that he spent half the Medicare budget buying bonds, in the past week. So the result of this, as one would imagine, sorry, gotta refresh my charts here. The Japanese index, the JPN 225, Nikkei 225, has been doing okay. It's been surviving. It's only down 10% from its peak. I think back in October of that time. Meanwhile, NASDAQ, S&P down a lot more. However, noticing the exchange rates, however, Japanese yen has now been down around 25% against the US dollar over the same period, now trading at 136.5, which is absolutely unheard of. This is like the highest we've ever been since like the early 2000s, if not earlier. I think Japan has a pretty interesting, probably, yeah, this is the highest we've ever been since October of '98, which is just kind of crazy. In Japan, the economy there has kind of stalled, but it's an interesting case study. If you hear me talk on the show a lot, I blame a lot of their demographic problems on anime and waifuism, it is a serious demographic issue over there, where you have a very, very aging population, and you don't have people to exactly subsidize their Social Security, and so there's not a lot of things that the Bank of Japan can really do at this point, and so you're seeing a bit of a crisis in Japan at the moment. And in my opinion, this is only going to exacerbate. We're seeing new highs over here, new 25-year highs on the Japanese yen, and I think this will go a lot higher. And of course, over there, you have the Japanese Jay Powell, Mr. Kuroda here, head of the Bank of Japan, which, by the way, the Bank of Japan, it's a little bit interesting. They do it a little bit different over there in the Bank of Japan. Here, the Federal Reserve, they do the traditionally monetary stimulus, they buy government bonds, that sort of thing. Over in the Bank of Japan, these guys hold real estate, they hold stocks, and the Bank of Japan, by the way, if you didn't know, is publicly traded on a stock exchange back over there in Tokyo. Yeah, that's right. Imagine if the Federal Reserve was tradable on NASDAQ for New York Stock Exchange, something crazy like that. Anyhow, it's pretty interesting what they're doing over here. Mr. Kuroda, fascinating individual, a very well-educated man, a fan of monetary stimulus, and the first to propose negative interest rates for Japan back in 2016, now maintaining a dovish stance with the unlimited buying of bonds to try to keep that 25 basis point cap. And of course, and Japan's feeling the inflation. The buying power over there is corroding. 46% of those in Japan do not support the Bank of Japan's policy in terms of their easing. The support of the current ruling party now has fallen to 60% from 66% just a month previous. And inflation now has been reported as a pretty big issue over in Japan. It's only 2% there compared to the core inflation, I should say, 2% in Japan, compared to the 6% over here in the US. But that being said, Japan is used to more of a deflationary environment. So 2% is quite a bit, considering the fact that these guys are squashing their yields. Anyhow, bond traders were hoping that the Japanese would stop defending the peg, or the ceiling, I should say, on the 25 basis point yield. But no, they're just they continue to buy bonds with no end. This is what the chart looks like, supposedly from Bloomberg. As you can see, bond purchases record high by a long shot over here. So it's absolutely crazy, and there's not exactly a good way out of here. It's easy for me to pretend to be a central banker sitting in my nice armchair over here. But I think over there in Japan, there's pretty much only two things that can really be done at this point because of the demographic issues. On one hand, you can continue defending the peg, as you see over here. Unlimited bond purchases, more quantitative easing, continue devaluing your dollar, or your yen, I should say in this case. And inflation's going to creep up. But I feel like you're just trying to prevent the inevitable at this point, because it's going to crash some point or the other. At some point, you can't just keep defending the peg. It feels like Do Kwon trying to keep terror at a dollar. It feels like exactly. It's like if George Soros comes and starts dumping bonds en masse, it's going to collapse. I feel as at some point. The biggest issue here, I feel like, is the demographic issue. At this point, it's like you can drink your problems away. You can run away from your problems. In Japan, you're trying to print away their problems, but you can't just keep doing that forever. And at some point, I feel as though they just have to let things go, let things take a natural turn. Again, the issue is you don't have a working class or shrinking working class at this point trying to contributing to your Social Security. But there's not a lot of ways that I see Japan coming out of this. It's just going to be a few more lost decades, unfortunately. So if you're a trader, I think looking at the Japanese yen, US dollar against any other pair could be quite fascinating. I think this is going to go a lot higher. Japanese markets, hard to say what they will do, depending on whether or not we continue to see more easing. But pretty much, I think at this point, the only thing that can get Japan out of the current economic issues that they have is to simply tell your young people to start dating again, because your population is declining. Stock market's at the same level as it was in 1996, and so is the population. So it's quite fascinating what's going on in Japan at the moment. Anyhow, that was my quick spiel for today. Sorry I take up so much time, but thank you for listening in, tuning with Tuesdays with Tony. It's been an absolute pleasure every time, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you guys, and take care. Have a good one, and best of luck with your trades.
Wow.
No apology. Don't even sit there apologizing for taking time dropping sides.
This is what Tony does.
I'm worried about the test that's coming up because I'm trying to take my notes here.
I was trying to take some notes as well, and I just, after like a couple minutes, I left it alone there.
It's me a doozy.
So
it's like university up in here, man.
All right, let's get him off the screen. He's got to go make some cash now, so thank you, Tony, for that. There it is. Tuesdays with Tony has come to an end. So thank you, Tuesday. TED Talk with Tony, it seems like. Maybe more appropriate. So thank you.
Times 10.
Thank you, Tony, for that one. Meanwhile, let's go. Miss V is not in the building, but there it is. Superman is there, no doubt, because there's 84 flat right now. So off all these reloads, man, we have a small piece left. We are almost out now. We'll look at it. Bang, bang, bang. There's those reloads out. We did get that 84.05. I mean, I told you we were sitting down there, and that's the thing with Andrew Rader that we just had on. We talked about you can't get filled unless you're sitting around waiting for it, right? And there was a nice little fill to the bottom side there. And then how about Revlon? Let's go. I'm still positive on this name. So Revlon, still a nice little move. We're now 40 cents in the money on this name as it's coming back in. Revlon, we waited for 40s. We got it. So now let's see how much lower we can go on REV now, Revlon. Hopefully more downside coming, but I don't know. If you guys are long, then you're long. But right now, we're short Revlon. Positive name for me today. No negative stocks today, so we're pretty happy about that one. We're trying to diamond hand this thing down here to 6. If we can get a 6, then I think that's pretty good for us.
I'd be pretty happy with that. It's once again right back to the previous breakout price at 630 and catching a bid. So you're still seeing that trend over and over with Revlon. It gets right down to its breakout price, and then you see it turn. I've got the Boeing chart on. You're going to see the market's gotten to a bit of a top here. Oh, come on, load up. The market's gotten to a bit of a top and is trying to put a reversal. So some of the shorts, if you had a resistance level that didn't break like a Boeing, we have a chance to maybe flush out. I don't need 2 bids down there, so I can cancel one of them. So if we do get a rollover here, we're going to make sure we're holding on to some of these short trades. NIO also starting to work. Obviously, with the market pulling back, it did not take out that high. I'm looking for a VWAP retracement in that name as well. As far as the one long that I'm sitting in, this square, it just can't seem to break 61. Good sign for the long, because that's where I'm long in front of. But it has not given me that chance for the reload. There was one wick bottom, right here when we came on. Actually, right about 245, just shortly after we came on there. And if we get another shot at it, I'd need to see it consolidate there. But we're running out of time to want to reload on a long. The market's trying to take out the highs, which does put some risk on those. If you're long at the top, you put some risk on some of those longs. But if a support level goes, I'm just going to get out of it. Try to hold some of the shorts for this little pullback that we are seeming to be sitting in as we currently watch this super strong market give a little back. But it's all about perspective. Obviously the NASDAQ is still going a bit sideways here. And then you look at the ES, we're still close to those highs. We've wick topped the high, and we failed the breakout on the ES, and that's what we're looking at for, just to see if it can't get a muted pullback into 350. I don't know if the imbalances will be much of anything, but if they do come to the sell side, obviously I hope to have at least 1 or 2 of these longs, shorts that are working into the money, and I'd probably just get out of the square long regardless at about 350.
Yeah, man, we're king today on Revlon. Revlon, nice little move down there, man, out at 40. We just talked about that. Let's see if we can get even lower right now. Apparently, it's 500 to sell coming from, coming from Financial Juice right now. So thanks to Brad for that one. 660 right there on Revlon. Yeah, it could be another short area. I'm happy just chilling out with this right now. Financial Juice, 572 right there. So thanks, Brad, for that one. to the sell side. So, okay, we are short AMD. AMD printing cash right now as well. So, oh, here we go. Yeah, celebrating our new cup. Rader, King of the Grill. You turn it around, you got a little steak action there. Zach, maybe that's the Zach that he's talking about. Zach right there. I don't know what that's all about, but that's on my mug.
Other guy, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, I think they make pretty cool mugs. So anyways, a nice quality one there. Thanks to my family for that one. A good Father's Day for sure. Okay, DraftKings, just to have a quick look on this one. We kind of left this, but we're just noticing right now, kind of don't need to be leaving this anymore. You're down to 21 right here. Look at the level 2. Look at the printing here on this name. We'll see if we can get a bid down to 21 right now, but that's not horrible. It's come all the way back in off this short, so sorry, not sorry there. Trader Pratt he's beside me for DraftKings coming back in right now. We're short at 50. Yeah, we'll make the cash now, Pratt, and then we'll go long tomorrow on this name. But like I said, I was saying this earlier, it's like if you own DraftKings, you're happy today, you're up 7%. I'm short DraftKings and also happy it's up 7% because we shorted it when it was up 8% or more. So a nice little move back down now for DKNG. Let's see where we go from here. I want to get some out. I mean, I just realizing this right here that we're at sort of these 1, 2, 3, 4 times the charm. Normally it's triple bottoms. So maybe this does break a little bit lower here. So we'll see what does happen with DraftKings. Hopefully it comes lower. We'll be able to hold out. We still have some shares left, obviously. So we'll see about holding out to this, like, at least VWAP, which would be 12.15. We'll see if we can get even lower if the market does flush. But noticing one thing, which is why we are out, completely now out of our AM. Well, no, we still have a small piece, but very small. Look at the 50 period. It's now been breached by the futures. So if it can just close above, it really hasn't done that yet. Like, none of these candles scare me right here, so I'm not super worried. But again, we got to sort of close above this 11,620. If we can do that, then great. But there it is, nice little out on DraftKings. Now it's through 1918. Lower we go on DKNG, man. A couple bangers on the board right here for you.
Yeah, I just rang the register on some NIO, but it's as I was being mesmerized by Tony there, I forgot a little bit about CRISPR. Which obviously Brennan came with the news, not a positive result from their presentation. But they did get to the 60. It wick bottom, 59.82, low of the day on CRISPR. And look, when you have this happen, but the only thing you can think about is where has there been support? And I mean like legitimate support, not necessarily a wick bottom, but buyers on multiple days, a significant price level. It was at 60. It's bounced once off 60. I feel like if you took that one bounce, you got $2, I don't know if you want to revisit it. Not with the market pulling back here, not with that bad news. I'm not sure it holds a second time, but the first time definitely worked. Now we're starting to churn to the downside a little bit here. So Neil's starting to accelerate down into VWAP. Looks like Square, the only long I got on, it's about to test that 61 and maybe break it. So we might be out of this one altogether and only be thinking about some of those shorts. I'm going to just check in on Tesla here because was there anything stronger than Tesla today? I don't think so, and even it's starting to roll back. So it does feel like heading into 350, we are favoring that sell side. Of course, you got from Financial Juice, I think you said 570 million to sell. That seems to be lining up. You are getting a bit of a pullback here overall, but we've seen that number not necessarily matter too much. Like, I kind of feel like if we pull back far enough, down into VWAP, catch a little bit of support on some of the bigger names, and then it's really only 500 million, you could catch a little bit of a bounce here. We are up 3%, almost 3% on the day. It has been a relatively strong day, and many of these names haven't even been sniffing VWAP at any point, aren't really breaking big levels of support to the downside. Now I say that, and then I bring up Meta, which by the way is bounced. Not a heck of a lot, but that has bounced a little bit. If there is an individual name that I want to watch to see if there's any kind of an imbalance, I'm just kind of curious to see what Meta's going to do because that has been the gong show, I feel like, today. You'd be hard-pressed to see a day where the market was this strong recently and an individual big-cap tech name just couldn't seem to join the party. And, man, if we get a shot at 150 some point this week, it's going to be a crowded trade if we see Meta 150 because there's going to be a lot of people on the bid there, but there's going to be a lot of stops as well at that particular price. And as a trader, you get excited to see things like that because of the trading opportunity, and Meta has us within earshot, although if the market keeps this up, maybe we don't see it this week.
Yeah, who knows? Lucas, if you have it, hit it. If we have it right now, my favorite animation, there it is, perfect. It's got to be on the board there.
I have it.
No, he just hit it. And yeah, so far, good today. Revlon, I feel like that was a perfect out there at 40. It just touched the 50 period. It did just rip back up, but we're more celebrating the fact that today we're going to go 1 for 1. We're going to go 2 for 2 on names, 3 for 3 on names, 4 for 4 on names, 5 for 5 on names, 6 for 6 on names. So six ideas given today, all 6 profitable. The only thing is, Revlon right now is going to look, the most questionable here because, and it is, man, it's like the least amount of profit. We have a cup of coffee on this one today, but hey, we traded it, put money in our pocket, so it's a positive name for us. Apple's been great today. AMD, I mean, anybody watching me trade this thing today knows that this has been a great trade off the longs there. Longs early, longs again, got hit on one little dump, then started just getting these shorts in. That was a good trade. Draftkings, I mean, this name has honestly, man, feeling like Superman today because Draftkings was just shorts all over the place. We kind of just cherry picked this name early. I knew I liked it. I knew I wanted to be short this name. We waited for it to come up. I mean, we waited till about 11, like just as we went off air. The first take was there 10:45, where it ripped back to day's high, and then we just sort of expanded it out, right? And was just looking at some of these day highs there, how it hasn't really broken above this 1260 area. So that was going to be an area for us, and then we've just been able to cash in pretty hardcore now on to Draftkings. And then, I mean, everything else just working out for us. I may just get out of this Revlon. It's kind of just bouncing around. The 50 period has come up a little bit. It's not about keeping it. Here's the Mortal Kombat one. It's not about having the flawless victory because honestly, like when you look back at your net at the end of the month, it doesn't, like, I just look at that number. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't say, oh my God, like I'm up 10 grand, but I can't believe I gave back $10 here on Revlon. Like, there's certain things like that you don't really have to worry about. Just try to trade the setups and make sure that they're there for you. And then if you're successful in the month of June, then you look to double your shares or whatever. Look for similar opportunities in July, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to hold out for this Revlon. The minute we take out 7, we're going to get out. And I'm just going to be honest with you, that should turn me negative on the name if I have to punch out at 7. So that's going to be where we are on Revlon. Positive name for us today. And there goes Draftkings as well, man. No, sorry, I thought it went even lower than that. It didn't. 17s is the bottom. Right at VWAP, where we sort of were debating getting out. 10 minutes until the imbalances.
Yeah, we still have some time for this to work out. I saw it was, I want to get it right here, it was TradeX Freedom asking about Microsoft and for the shorts. Look, I'm sitting in a couple of shorts, and to me, this late in the day, if it's got a resistance level and you have a stop out, I don't think there's a problem with it. So speaking of Microsoft, I'm going to apologize in advance for this crazy wick that just came up on Microsoft. I'll try to clean that up in a second. But this 254 half is the high. So you're saying you got a 20 short, risk it to the high. The imbalances are to the south side. The market just made another push down. The NASDAQ has 2 higher lows from it. The ES has failed a break of the top. So yeah, that's a decent structure short. Maybe you can get into VWAP. I'm sitting in something very similar in NIO, something similar in Boeing as well. But if at 350 that sell imbalance turns into flat or nothing, you might have to get out of that trade. You're running out of time as a day trade to be able to cover it. I mean, that wick is ridiculous. I'm not even sure why we're looking at a Microsoft chart. But you are seeing a pullback, and we're seeing it over there in Tesla. I'm going to get out of most of these, like NIO. It gets down to VWAP. I'm just going to sit on the bid here with less than 10 minutes for us. I just like being flat going into the number, especially in a relatively strong name. If it's already pulled back enough, I'll just pop on the bid here. Don't have to worry about the stop at the high of the day at this point. And the same thing goes with Block. If it's just going to sit here right back in my entry, I'm not taking a re-entry there, but I'm not going to let this break 61. I'm probably going to get on the offer so that any spike we're able to cover here. Still looking at about 570 million. And that's not a gigantic number overall. And Meta, which is the other one that we're interested in, that's just barcoding here off that lower high. So there's some signs that the bottom might have come in at 156 on Meta. We'll see if that actually holds up tomorrow. The big test for me on Meta is we're up almost 3% today, and Meta's down 4%. So what does it look like if we have a negative day? Like if we get a down 1-2% day, can Meta catch a bid on that kind of a day, or how bad does it get? Because that's where you might actually see a bit of a wipeout bottom start to come in. It's all well and good today that, okay, we're down 4%. You're like, oh, it's a bad day. Yeah, but that was in an up market. What happens if Meta if we have a big down day? That's where I want to see some levels of support possibly come in that I could dig into on, almost at Facebook again.
That's okay. All right. Yeah, Meta, just, I don't know. I don't even want to say buy dips. I mean, there's so many better names there. We talked about Google. I think Google, you can buy all of the dips. AMD just went below, by the way, to 83.90. So yeah, will Gronk spike that one? What a great day it's been. I'm exhausted. I have T-ball tonight again. Like this schedule is just absolutely nuts. I know.
It's hot, dude.
Pratt,
it's going to be hot tonight,
Pratt
too.
is right. Don't have kids. But we're coaching. We only have 2 losses. So tonight we face the Astros. And we'll see if we can beat them again here tonight. So I coach.
Watch out for them drums.
Grade. I take age 7 and 8-year-old T-ball right now. And then we got our uniforms as well for the rep girls team. So that was really exciting for that one. But okay, let's just move on here on some of that as I look forward to it tonight. I mean, my daughter just loves playing, like Brad was saying earlier, like it's like engulfed all of my time, everything now with this T-ball. I can't believe how much she loves it. It's unbelievable. But there goes AMD now to the downside. Let's just wait to see where it goes, man. 83.85 coming into play there. And yeah, Draftkings, maybe we can buy a little more than a cup of coffee. So maybe you guys are right on that one, but we'll wait to see where we go on that. AMD to the downside. I don't really have too much. I know Neil was talking about Microsoft there a little bit. We were long. We should have been longer down here. I really like Microsoft at these levels. We'll have somebody talking about covered calls, and covered calls is just when you write a call against your position, so you get the premium, but you have to have, someone said you have to have 100 shares. Yeah, so what is T-ball? It's when you put a ball on a tee and then you hit it. So T-ball is what it is, and I'll be able to find some pictures on that. Go to my Instagram, and you'll see my daughter crushing the T-ball game out there as well. But
they have T-ball in the States.
That was really, really fun. Of course they have T-ball in the States, but maybe some other people don't know that. Shib Army has been up all day. Okay, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me check out Shiba Inu for you guys here. Let's just hit a quick refresh. Ooh, man, yeah, that was nasty. I remember when those numbers were the truth. Rader, whoa, hello. Yeah, Shiba Inu today, 44%. Straight upside right now. A 1.1 there. Remember when that was a 5. So a lot of work still to do on Shiba Inu. Remember, all of these coins, their supplies are, not all of them, but most of them in the billions. So just, they don't have
infinite.
They don't have, yeah, pretty much infinite. They don't have too much utility, but I'll leave all of that to you guys on what coins you want to get. I think, buying some of the dips in Bitcoin and Ethereum are the wise moves, but not going to be the most profitable. Obviously, if you picked up any of those other names, Shiba Inu, probably Dogecoin as well.
Elon picked them.
A little bit more, yeah. So Elon's being sued, by the way, for Dogecoin. For Dogecoin.
For the whole, yeah. For the whole network. Yeah, I mean, Elon's
billions and billions.
He does it to himself. I mean, obviously, but the reason for the bump today was he bought some over the weekend and was tweeting about it. I'm out of Revlon. It's actually 346 now, so it's the last trade will be a good one. But when you're fighting it all day long, my best trade is gonna be the last trade. But I probably think two shorts too many, and then the one long I had, I didn't hold on to. I think that was the key thing. When I managed to get into a long, wasn't willing to hold on. I'm almost out of NIO and Boeing there, so. We're still holding on to both of these. I'm still just looking for VWAP. I'm actually going to move my stop now as we get closer to the close. Forget about the high of the day. We're 3 minutes. We're 3 minutes away from the imbalances, so I'll just tighten my stop up because if it comes out and goes the other way individually on NIO, I don't want to give everything back. So it'll be binary. Either we get the flush into VWAP when the imbalances come out and get some more profits in it, or we're just going to give up 5 to 10 cents from where we are right now and put a trail in. So that's what I like to do around this time. Just want to make sure that we lock in some profits. I do want to be watching Meta in a couple of minutes here. I just like to look for a name that I feel like was relatively volatile or has a reason that it might do something special. So Meta, if there is a big sell imbalance on that, I think it gets paired off if there is one, especially on this name today because it's already been crushed so much. But I'll look individually toward Meta. And some of the energy names you never really do know, although I haven't been trading them much today. Tesla still holding fort, looking strong, up 10%. It's going to close up 10%, barring something crazy in the next 10 minutes. Crazy, crazy day for Tesla, crazy day for NIO as well. Like I said, I'm out of Revlon, but it does not mean that stock is done by any stretch. The way that it's closing should tell you a little bit of a story. This is effectively, it's not going to, right now it's not closing at the high of the day, but it's closing above its last consolidation range to the top. So it never broke the last breakout. This last breakout at 630, it has not been able to get below that price. Another crazy run. If you ever are thinking about swinging something like this, make sure you can trade in the pre-market. If this were to gap up, sometimes your best chance to take profit on a swing is in the pre-market on these names, especially something like Revlon, which is a pure squeeze.
All right, guys, let's do it. Money spitting out there. We are out of Revlon as well. We got some out just as Neil was speaking there. 57 out on Revlon. So yeah, 2 to 3 cups of coffee now today now made because we are out of it. We said if we got taken out at 7, then there might have been some issues there, but we didn't. We got taken out at the right spot, so good for us on 57. And again, rate, I mean, look what we did. Rate below the 50 period and rate above the 50 period after catching that top, boom, boom, boom. Very, very easy peasy today on Revlon, man. We just waited for some of the moves like that. Like this was a big move there. We thought we were coming back down. We got a little silly there, but that was a good one. That was a good one, I feel like, although it got taken out. But I mean, I liked shorting on that bump and then taking advantage of that and out right now. So not my forte, but hey, positive day today on that one. As I look though here, it's 80, so it feels like 27 right now. Sorry, it feels like 29. So that Celsius to Fahrenheit is 85. So right now in Toronto, 85. So,
I thought it was going to be hotter than that.
It's supposed to be very, very warm today. Okay, here we go. Here come the imbalances. We'll get a look at these as they come out with only a few more minutes left, a few more seconds left. 5 seconds left. We have AMD short in the money 50 cents. We have Draftkings in the money 40 cents. So let's see. Here we go. Forget about Revlon. We don't need to worry about Revlon. AMD right now, that's AMC. AMD move, yeah, so it looks like the market wants to go to the upside right now. A lot of buys. MRO, SoFi with a sell, Apple with a bid. So that's sending it upside right there. Other than that, a lot of volume, a lot of size on this. So yeah, this doesn't often work out for me. It looks like today's going to be the case as well. As we had AMD all the way down here at 83.90, of course, probably comes out a bid. But hey, we're going to finish the day at our highest spot. What a great day. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, I saw enough bids there. I guess it's not that big either direction, but I saw enough bids to just get out of NIO. It didn't make a move, so I'm just going to cover it there. SoFi was interesting at that 1.3 million to sell because I feel like I haven't looked at this stock in a while. So now it's not going to load up. Give me a break, SoFi. Yeah, SoFi, essentially for a strong market, to see SoFi flat on the session and come in with a sell imbalance does indicate some weakness. We talked about the beaten up names sort of and smaller caps carrying some of this market. So it's surprising to me to see SoFi essentially get to $6 this morning, dump and be making fresh lows, or at least testing fresh lows, closing flat with a 1.3 million sell imbalance. So that tells me that there is some weakness overall in SoFi. Sometimes it gives you an indication. All this told me is have a look, and I hadn't seen that this is a relatively weak stock today, worth monitoring tomorrow. If we get a red day, I might be watching some SoFi shares tomorrow. Meta was only 800,000 shares. It was to the buy side, didn't do a thing, but 800,000 shares into a 45 million volume, pretty much nothing. So it's a nothing burger over here in Meta. As the market's still sliding a tiny bit, but kind of a nothing burger for the imbalances. There's small buys on Apple and Meta, not really anything else I'm seeing.
Guys, hit the like button ASAP, please. We need some more. Just put it here. Follow me on Twitter as well if you want. We just finished with our VWAP trade there on Draftkings, so all the way down and out. We talked about it here, and then there's the finish up right there on DKNG. And then there's Tony. We had a great opportunity with him. There's the king of the grill. There's our nice espresso machine here. And then today, Apple longs, AMDs, NIO, Amazon. I mean, it's all here as well on our sticky notes. So join us, man. Watch list also up. I might just get out of all this. I mean, what do we even need here? We don't need anything. AMD's down to $84. Bounced off there a little bit. I don't think this market's going to rip or anything. Let's hold on to this until the end. Maybe we do get a little bit of a flush, although it seems like those imbalances, those imbalances came out by south side, on some names, but definitely rallied the market upside there. Apple, look at Apple, came with a bid. It doesn't look like it's affecting it much, but it did shoot up from 136 to 136.20 or so where we are now. So Apple with a nice buy there today. And yeah, we're going to conclude our perfect day there today with AMD 50 cents now, 40 cents, in the money, soon to be 50 cents. Downside there with AMD. So I am completely exhausted. Thank you so much for watching with us today. It's been a banger of a day. Not often do we have these kind of awesome performances, but we do today. So happy with everything, and thanks for watching.
Absolutely, and just a quick look, some of those imbalances, it looks like a continuation a tiny bit on SoFi. This actually could end up going red on the session, but not seeing a heck of a lot of extra movement, but still seeing it take out that low of the day. Just going back over to NIO and Tesla, two of the strongest names in the overall market. This has managed to hold near the highs. No further pullback in NIO. Not too much more over there in Tesla. So these are both poised to close over VWAP, at least they're attempting to for now. I totally whiffed on, I said in the afternoon show, I wouldn't ignore JD.com. And this goes the other way. So from the weakest name of all the US listed Chinese ADRs, yeah, JD actually breaks out very late in the day. So, obviously it was weak all day long, but at this point looks like it did actually catch a bid. So not going to close up on the day or anything, but JD bucking that trend right at the end. I didn't see any imbalance on it. Looks like it was just sort of generically grinding higher here, but kind of a crazy run for it. CRISPR, I kind of feel that could be a play tomorrow. We did have that late news. Whoops, of course, CRSP.
What happened now?
You know what happens when you just, there we go.
Yeah.
So remember I said don't take it the second time off 60. 60 was just going to give it to you once. Well, if you took it the second time, it gave you $5. So CRISPR does catch a bid twice off the $60 level. I feel like this should be in play going into tomorrow. It's laid out some levels for you, 60 even, now 65 to 66, as it looks like it's going to close. I mean, it's not closing near its highs, but I mean, since the news came out, closing back to where it had a bit of a nice little consolidation or pullback. So CRISPR should be on your radar for tomorrow. Pretty big mover late in the session.
Yeah, big time. And all on some of that talk there where they didn't mention something, then maybe they did, but more work definitely needs to be done. We are all out, so we'll dab up here today. We got out of that AMD, unfortunately. I just didn't want to take the risk at 355 that the market would have kept on going up. We do get a reload on time there. When 355 hits, sometimes the imbalances will go the other way or vice versa. So yeah, that sucks, man. I just gave up 15 cents as there goes AMD all the way down. So we did take it out at 84 flat. Not a great out for us, but just didn't want to risk 15 cents more to the upside. I'm happy with it. Can't complain on that right now. Great job, TradeX Freedom there on Microsoft. I know you were with me last week on a bunch of these trades. Great short off those highs. We were only going long Microsoft. Paid off again for us today. Actually, Microsoft is my number one stock. So you have Microsoft there. AMC was a good one. AMD as well. Apple, Revlon, you guys saw that come through. Make sure all my stop orders are canceled on. Whoa, there it is. Man, some mistakes for sure on some of this, man. Look at Revlon as that's making that move back down
still
here.
Still 640 though.
So yeah, still 635,
barely.
but doesn't matter. Still that price here for Revlon. So yeah, we got out there at 654, gave up some profit there to end the day, but still, man, can't be happier with trading today, guys.
Yeah, although GGPI, man, that's actually going to close on those lows. So another one, they sold it off right past that $10 mark. I'll double check the date. I got to get it for you guys. I know Brendan put it in our chat when it does change over to the new symbol.
The 24th.
Is it the 24th or 26th?
I'm gonna say it was 23 or 24. I don't know. I thought that's what he said. But.
It is certainly either way. I think it's this week or either late next week. But either way, it's getting sold off pretty heavily. And again, another big red candle right into the low of the day for Polestar. You're going to see it close right on these bottoms. It looks like, and the market actually accelerating. So it is the 24th, so that is this week. But the market accelerating to the downside here. Looks like we're giving up some of those gains, but overall. bit of a drop in the bucket. You got the gap up. We're holding at least somewhere near the highs on the NASDAQ. The ES as well, still in the pocket. It was, and the reason why some of the shorts worked, you had a failed breakout on the S&P 500 right at the close there, where we had that nice little wick off top and just retraced to the bottom of the range. So that's why some of those shorts came back in. Still going to be a pretty solid update, so no complaints about what we've seen here to start the week after that record, well, not record down week, but one of the larger down weeks that we've seen in the last half year.
Man, did we give up this name. Oh, that sucks. We could have had a couple more cups of coffee on AMD, but the closing hasn't been great for me. I mean, it's been great for me. I can't complain today. It's just, yeah, we definitely missed out on that one. I guess I can get rid of my Draftkings as well, as that is now near day's low again. Obviously, the low was the open, but Draftkings pulls all the way back in. So does everything, man. Everything at the end of the day here. I said it wouldn't be surprising if the NASDAQ pulled back to like a paltry 1%. We don't get that much of a pullback, but we do get a nasty one here at the end of the day. That sucks. I should have one more tick right there to get out. Revlon fading back down to 620 as well. But hey, like I said, positive stock for me today. Can't really complain. And then AMC, just there was some size at 1250 just to cap it off. Not much happening, but I want to give a big thanks to Bear vs. Bulls, man. Lots of work today, lots of stuff done on that. Meta as well. Let's just have a quick look here. Are we closing at the lows? No, the very bottom was 156 flat, so you're about a buck up from there. I like this as a swing trade, Meta for sure. I mean, it's weaker than the market. It's down that 4%, but I don't know. Like, you get one upgrade tonight, and I don't know if it's coming. Obviously, I don't know, but this name could go back through 160 tomorrow, so we'll have to watch out for Meta. But again, swing trades, not really the forte around here. We get out as the market closes. So.
I selfishly would rather, look, I'm not betting for the stock to go down. I selfishly would rather see Meta at 150, just for the opportunity at that price, for the longs off that price. It is what it is, but I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't know who's on the bell, but we got like 15 seconds to go here, and we might have the man, the myth, the legend, who you've never seen before, or no, it's going to be Tony. You guys psyched me out, man. Okay, so Tony's going to be on the bell. Get him on there, dance it off. Thanks again for a great job. Tuesdays with Tony in 3, 2, and 1.
Thank you, Tony. Ringing that bell. The market is now closed. All of my orders. Yeah.
Oh,
casino. Yeah. I mean, this market's not a casino, because if it was, I'd be banned, Brendan, from the casino. But let's go find out how we did today, Mr. Wickens.
Card counting, Sean. Card counting. Very green. I was just getting my board zoomed in here a little bit so we can see. 2.5% for S&P, the Dow 2.15%. I brought this one up because, yeah, huge day for small caps here. 2.5 for the Russell, 1,000, 2,000, 2%, 2.5 for 3,000 as well. But yeah, it was all about tech all day long. 2.5 for both the composite and the NASDAQ 100, guys. Good to see to start the week.
Yeah, we did give up at the end of the day, though. I mean, actually, the rollover was a little bit deeper at the end. You had Tesla, NIO, some of the names I was watching actually break VWAP and then go even further. So, it wasn't a huge imbalance, but there was some profit taking. And I think that's one thing that we have to look out for. We're still in a market where anytime we have a big update, you're seeing some heavy profit taking at several points, especially at the end there.
Yeah, what a great day. And I mean, I'm just going to continue to do what I do best here, and that is give you guys my ideas early off in the AM, and then just trade off these. Like, I don't have Revlon on here, but, we sit there, hit it, make that money on that name as well. NIO, what a great runner that was today for sure. I want to give a big thanks to all of our IT team working in the background today. They're throwing up some sound barriers between us and Pratt and the afternoon show. That didn't work, I don't think. So thank you to that. Thank you to Mark for sure. Thanks to Rob today throwing in. He likes the DJ Street Fighter GIF animation. So he likes the DJ one. That's fine. Thanks to Rob for that and for all the help that he gives us. Thanks to Lucas on the ones and twos. Fahad on the ones and twos. We can't say enough about our guest today, Andrew Rader from Rader Trader. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to Toronto Tequila Tony for stepping up and in. And yeah, what an amazing day. Thanks to Maggie, who I see here. Thanks to Liz, Katrine, everybody who makes Trader TV Live very, very possible. Brendan, you chomping at the bit about anything here?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Great day. Can't complain.
Couldn't agree more. All right, let's wrap that thing up then right here. With only a couple minutes left, well, actually, it's past 4 o'clock right now. We are going to throw you over to our trade of the day, so make sure you check that out. It's AMC. It was a one and done for me. We actually got in at the bottom and out near the top, so we're pretty happy with AMC. Make sure you check it out, and make sure you join us tomorrow at 8:30 when I'll be joined by Arun, so have a great day off tomorrow, Neil, and we'll catch you on Thursday, I guess. I don't remember what day it is. So for all of us here on Trader TV Live, Arun and I tomorrow. Brendan's back, though, so are the midday show, and we'll see you then. Trader TV Live, 8:30. Ciao, guys.